Hi, everybody.
Wahoo!
I was just watching the reactions to the song. The apparently it's called the Wahoo Stomp. Maybe that's not the official name, but we think that sounds like a pretty good name.
That's what someone in the chat called it. I approve of that name.
See, Chavni is saying this song reminds me of Klonoa 2 because it's from Klonoa 2. All right. Welcome to yet another Sunday night stream.
Yep.
This is the first PS5 game we've played on an official stream, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, aside from that, the launch day stream that didn't go very well because I think the reason that stream didn't work very well was because the PS5 downloads so much faster than last gen consoles. And like it was eating up all my bandwidth.
Right.
And like I'd never had a problem with streaming while downloading stuff on like PS4. So I think that was why the stream was breaking down. I don't think it had anything to do with my internet. I think it's just the PS5 was eating all my bandwidth because it could.
It's just gobbling it all up. It was gobbling it.
We've got we've got like a ongoing story in our super chat thus far. $2 from Gaming Blows predictably saying if we all donate, maybe he'll play something else. I'd like to point out Coury is the one playing tonight.
Yeah.
Coury's the Sega guy, so of course he's playing Balan Wonderworld. Sandy, don't eat fuzz off the carpet.
Just eating it. Eat it.
Just eating it.
Eat that fuzzy
eating
carpet.
That just going. And then $2 from For the Love of the Game saying $2, but you have to play Balan Wonderworld. And then Shadow Mask with $2 saying $2, but Gaming Blows has to watch Balan Wonderworld. And then Gaming Blows says $2, but everyone has to stop tormenting me. Well, if it's any
what's going to happen next?
I think I think Balan Wonderworld is going to be an easy game to talk over. You know what I mean?
Yes, I agree. We're
just going to chill here and hang out and play a game that, I have to admit, I played the demo.
Mm-hmm. I did not play the demo, right. But I did play the first level yesterday.
Like, this is pretty bad. This is not good. And then like when the final game came out, John said, "Oh, the movement speed's faster. Once you like kind of start getting into the game, it kind of becomes interesting to like discover that there's places that I didn't think were accessible at all in this other level, but actually now that I got this costume, I now understand, I can go to this place and that place." So the levels seem very small at first, and then you realize over time that they're much bigger than you thought they were.
Yeah.
It seems to very much be, from what I can gather, it seems to be a game in some regards similar to Kirby's Epic Yarn, where there's a lot of people who really don't like Kirby's Epic Yarn. I think in part because it's very easy. You can't really die. You just kind of lazily stroll through it.
Yeah.
But I really like Kirby's Epic Yarn. I like the presentation. It's a very chill and relaxing game, even though generally, I do like some challenge in my platformers, yes. But what is fun about it is finding 100% of, the collectible in the levels. So, I think that's very much what Balan Wonderworld is about, is just discovering all you can about the levels. But I have to admit, when I played the demo, it was kind of like, oof. I think Yuji Naka's lost it. Like,
I mean, I can't even tell you, like, besides Rodea the Sky Soldier, like, what even he's done, that he's been the director of since, like Billy
3.
Hatcher. What is it?
Number 3, right?
What 3?
Shenmue 3. Or am I
No,
thinking of another?
that's Yu Suzuki.
Yu Suzuki. I get them confused. Yeah. I get those two guys confused.
So, it's up to people whether or not they want me to start from the very beginning. I played the first world yesterday. I could just continue playing, or I could start from the very beginning. So
I think you should. I mean, I think people have probably seen how the game starts off, or they've played the demo, or what. Is the first level the farmer?
Yeah, there's a lot of corn love going on in that first level.
There was a lot of corn love. So did you beat the boss of the farmer level?
No, I've only played the 2 levels that are in there. It's like a. Let's see. I'll show you.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, let's just start. Start from
so
here.
I got the third door. It looks like I'm going to be going right to the boss this time.
There was 499 from Dingus Glurt saying, "I'd rather see Daikatana." Well, no, Daikatana seems to have some interesting ideas for sure. I mean, this game has like. It could get cool with like the number of costumes that there are. I think one thing people are maybe have a little uncertainty about this game too is, it's a 1-button game.
Yeah.
Which I respect. Now, like I said, I was not loving the demo, but I do respect the idea behind the sentiment behind just pure simplicity and design like that, to the point where there is no back button even in like the title screen menu. If you go like the
right.
screen, like everything is confirmed and you have to like go down to like back, I think, to actually go back. I mean, I respect that,
Yeah. I mean, for the record, the first 2 levels that I played, I don't really have a problem with it. I mean, it feels like a very relaxing game.
Yeah, I mean the first the second level was the one that had like the warping terrain, right?
Yeah, and at one point like a big ball comes out and it's very Super Monkey Ball-esque, where it chases after you. And
I think that was. I mean, there are glimmers of cool design, but the demo did not hit home for me. I gotta say.
Well,
but. Maybe my mind and maybe some other people's minds will be changed by this stream. Who knows?
I doubt it.
One thing that kind of bothered me was like all of these like dancing like characters.
Yeah,
they're like fade away as soon as you like approach them. Then they fade back in as you walk away. I mean, John says he thinks it's because it's supposed to feel very dreamlike, but it just felt weird. There was 199 from Paul Sutton saying, excuse me, but apparently it was actually $2, saying $2, but you have to round up.
Ooh, right in the foots.
So
is that it? That was like the first boss.
Truly $2, I guess.
There was one before that also. If you scroll up just a little bit more.
The Daikatana.
Oh yeah, that's right. You're right. Sorry, I missed the dingus. The old dingus. Yeah, dingus. Boss was super easy.
Yeah, it was super easy in the demo too. Although I understand the movement speed is faster now, so I thought that I thought that the
sounds like Whitney Houston. If Whitney Houston was allowed to record a new song, this is what it would be.
I thought that the run cycle looked out of sync with like the speed of the character moving. Like it just looked like they weren't really making contact with the ground.
Yeah, I mean it feels very Sonic Adventure like, where Sonic kind of slides along the ground.
Yeah. I mean,
it doesn't. I don't know. I feel like in a lot of cases I'm probably too laid back and forgiving to a fault. A lot of times.
Yeah.
I will say that like this game is probably it's probably a major disservice for this to have released at $59.99. If they had released it at $29.99, I wonder if everybody would have been like, oh, it's like it's not great, but you know what? It's a $30 game.
Yeah, I mean, I am a lot more forgiving than I used to be too. I mean, when Drum was looking for games to pick up, when the PSN is going down, he was asking me about the Wild Arms games. I was like, oh, like definitely get Wild Arms 1 and Wild Arms 3. Highly recommend. You can skip Wild Arms 2 because Wild Arms 3 is a lot like Wild Arms 2, but I thought Wild Arms 3 was a better version of what Wild Arms 2 tried to do. And he looks at my backlogger and he's like, you gave Wild Arms 3 out of 5 stars on your backlogger, but you just said you highly recommend it. And I'm like, I think when I played through that game, like, I used to be a lot more critical. I had this head that like, I have to like really think about, is this good game design and stuff like that. And now I'm just like, I just want to, if I enjoy it, whatever, I don't have to think that deeply about it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think it's really funny that the guy with the hat is his name Balan or Balan?
I think so.
But his voice sounds exactly like the announcer from Phantasy Star Online 2, who's like, "Mission completed."
There was £2 from Jamie Maxwell saying, "Good luck. We're all counting on you." I didn't do a very good Leslie Nielsen there. Good luck. We're all counting on you. And stop calling me Shirley. And there was also $2 from Kelly saying, $2, but you have to show us Sandy.
There you go.
Here's Sandy.
I mean, the music's pretty great in this, I think. Has people been making fun of the music too, or like saying the music is not good? I mean, this sounds like the Mythic Ruins in Sonic Adventure 1.
I mean, let's be honest. Part of the reason people might not like this game, maybe it's kind of forcing them to
just let me go back.
Whether the Sonic Adventure games are actually good or not.
Well, I mean, I feel that the first one is good.
They don't want to confront the reality.
I assume that let me go back.
I've only played through Sonic Adventure 2, and I did like it at the time. I've been a bit nervous to go back and try Sonic Adventure 1, but I do intend to play through it. I kid.
I mean, I really dislike the camera in Sonic Adventure 2.
Mm-hmm.
Let me know if the music's too loud or whatever. Ooh, we got the Jelly Jolt.
I tend to be pretty forgiving on camera in games.
Well, Sonic Adventure 2's camera is frustrating, to say the least.
Yeah, I mean, I played it on GameCube. Although, I'm pretty sure John does consider the Dreamcast version to be better. But I had a GameCube, so that's what I played it on. And also, it was just like such a novelty at the time. Like, ooh, I'm buying Sega games on Nintendo system. Those columns that you slide up are kind of interesting.
Yeah. I guess so.
Who's the giant person in this one?
The giant person?
The giant human that's sitting there. Like last time, there was a giant farmer.
The farmer didn't get revealed until the end of the first level last time.
Well, where did she go? I saw a huge human sitting in the corner over there.
Oh, really?
She was there. Maybe she disappeared when you got too close. Go further away. I
was far away. I didn't...
Like she was sitting, like on the second story. Up there, but like she must have faded away because you got close. Because that's this weird thing this game does. Like I mean, every chapter has like some story, I guess, about. See, there she is.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know. I mean,
But every chapter seems to have like a story, like some sort of story that's
right.
told abstractly through the level. There was two from Rears the Blood. Thank you. Saying, when will we switch to Neopet's Darkest Fear?
Not tonight. What system is that on? The Neopets.
Are we not getting? I saw one or two Yo-Yo Yoshios.
Oh yes, right, correct. There was one for $1 10 minutes ago saying, "I just want to tell you both, good luck. We're all counting on you." And there was another one saying the problem with this game is it sold itself as a night style game, and we expected a super challenging. We expect a super challenging Twitch reaction game like Nights, not a poopy 3D platform. It feels like an indie developer made it.
I mean, let's be honest. I mean, he's not at Sega anymore. He is an indie developer.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is published by Square Enix, surprisingly, which is surprising to me. Yeah, I mean, visually, like, the characters look like knights. But, I mean, I think it's important to realize that, like, Knights is also a one-button game.
Is it really? I guess. Yeah, I mean, Knights is, similar. I mean, I don't think Knights would have been very well received today. Like, it's the sort of game where you kind of have to...
It's essentially a racing game. Knights.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of have to accept that Knights is not really what you would expect it to be. Like, to love Knights is to kind of come to terms with it in some ways. Like, I'm not saying it's not a great game, but like, it's not what you might think you want from a game that looks like that. It's not what it seems to be.
Yeah.
That makes sense. There was...
I hope people are not going to be too annoyed that we're not going to crap all over those, probably. I mean...
Well, that's not what we're about, I guess. I mean... Yeah, I'm still not sure if I'm sold on it, but, I'm not going to hate on it, but, I mean, the demo did not satisfy.
Yeah. I mean, I had no intention of buying it. It was... John was like, it's pretty good, and, there's something... Sometimes it just feels nice to play, like, a really simple game. There's, there's not a lot of thought.
I mean, in a lot of ways, it feels like it was made for kids. We got
the blubber. They got the bubble blower in here. It's like,
that text makes me think of like BioShock for some reason. Like that text that appears in the corner when you get a new suit.
Oh right.
There was 364 from Andrew Ritchie saying,
"Thank you.
A tip for your awesome work on Analog Frontiers."
There you go.
Thank you. That's very much appreciated. I have come to the conclusion that Analog Frontiers Part 4 is going to be about 50 minutes. So, fortunately for my sake, it's going to be closer to it's still going to be longer than Part 1, as I knew it surely would be. But it's going to be closer to the length of Part 1 than the length of Part 3.
I thought that said Balan's butt for a second there. It says Balan's bout.
Balan's butt.
Yeah. I mean, these are really stupid. There's not...
Yeah, they are. They are super. These scenes are super stupid. I wonder if they like change up in any way.
I don't know. I mean, can you lose, you think? Except for, hitting the button too early.
I don't know. There was There was $5 from Mop Speed. Thank you. Saying, buy yourself a nice D-pad replacement pad with this $5. Is that an issue that came up? Did someone have a bad D-pad?
I don't know.
You know, I guess on my SNES ones, you know, I had tried those cheap ones from, I forget what the website was I got them from. But
We did it!
I thought they were okay at first, and I said as such in the video, but then like after using them a little more afterwards, like I was kind of not too impressed anymore. So maybe if you spend a little bit more, like $5 perhaps, maybe there's some better ones. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
There was $2 from Shadow Mask with you know, I have to say I've not studied enough Japanese grammar yet to really understand what's going on.
We got the dynamic dolphin, and he knows where to travel through side streams.
The Shadow Mask is saying, Anata to Jimmy Hoppa wa Itsugoemon o Iji Maska. Asking about something about Jimmy Hoppa and Goemon. Did Jimmy release a video on Goemon recently?
No, Jimmy did a great video on PSN games, or Japanese PSN, PS1 classics to grab. So.
Oh, I need to check that one out.
That I watched yesterday, and I was like, "This is an excellent list of things to put on my X station as well."
Well, that formatting does not work with Google Translate, so sorry, Shadow Mask. I know you're asking me something about Goemon and Jimmy Hoppa, but that's about all I know. We have for the longest time intended to do some sort of like big Goemon video on our channel in collaboration with Jimmy. And you know, we just haven't had time to make it happen. But that is absolutely something I want to do someday, if that perhaps was the question. But we definitely want to do that. I actually just got past week I you know what's crazy is on last week's stream, you know, I was introduced to Getsu Fumaden by Audi, which is a game I didn't know about. It's a game that used a lot of the Ninja Turtles 1 engine.
Oh, really?
Original game by Konami. On the Famicom, and it seemed really interesting. And it had like a lot of Ninja Turtles sound effects, so I was kind of into that. So like after the stream, I went to eBay to get it, and I found this seller that had it, and then I was like digging into their and other items, and I noticed as I was at like the base shipping was like $16 or $17 for like a game, but then I noticed that is you added more items to your cart, they were only adding like 4 to 50 cents shipping. So I was like, I'm going to see what is like the cheapest stuff they've got that I actually want, because I'm always like slow to import like really cheap stuff, like stuff that I want, but like I'm just slow to import it because it's like, it's not worth the cost of shipping.
Right.
But like if I could buy some of those cheap things I want for only a few extra cents shipping, then it's totally worth it. So I got like the first Famicom Goemon game. I got one of the Game Boy Color Goemon RPGs. And a bunch of other like really, really cheap stuff. Fuma Den itself was like 20 something. So a little pricier, but yeah, I ended up buying several relatively cheap games. I also got Mighty Final Fight, which was like 20 something too.
Oh, that's a good one.
There was
Mighty Final Fight is definitely better than I feel is better than any of the sequels. Whoops, I didn't.
Well, I actually also got Final Fight 2 just because it was like $10 or something. I was just like, why not? Like that'd be a fun game for me and Drum to co-op on the stream sometime, you know? It couldn't be that bad. I thought it looked decent enough in John's big Final Fight video.
Yeah, I think it's kind of neat.
There was €5 from Frank Borst. Thank you.
Thank you.
Saying, hi guys, I'm enjoying your content for quite some time. I started to watch the old streams. Is the KFC Keep still open? Keep up the good work. Oh my gosh, did we stream Suikoden at some point? It must have come up in some tangential capacity.
The KFC Keep. I've never heard of
Keep. That for some reason. There's some weirdness going on with my Suikoden saves because I played Suikoden 1 and I gave a friend of mine my save so he could import it into Suikoden 2. And then when he finished Suikoden 2, he gave me his save so I could import into Suikoden 3. Because Suikoden 2 was too expensive at the time, so I hadn't played it yet. And so, like, there's like, so in my save, like, so it's my Suikoden 1 data, his Suikoden 2 data, and then I import it into my Suikoden 3. And so there was like some weird naming schemes that you would see popped up when things were referenced in Suikoden 3. So like I want to say in the first game, I called my castle KFC Keep for some reason. I don't know if I had ever even had KFC.
Why not?
I don't know if I'd ever had KFC in my life when I did that. And for some reason, I just like, well, I'm just going to call it KFC Keep. And then I want to think my friend called his like Stinky Castle or something. We were very mature, obviously.
I don't know what this even is that I'm doing here. I'm just feeding these things.
Tims? I think they're called the Tims.
They're called the Tims?
The Tims.
Yeah, there are some who call them Tims.
The Tims. I think why does Yo-Yo Yoshio appear in Super Chat on Digital Foundry streams and not on ours?
I don't know. Well, I think they do. He does. Or in it shows up. I mean,
it shows up, but it's not in the chat room. I don't see
right because it's not a it's not a super chat. It's a
right. Okay,
it's a Streamlabs donation.
Oh, okay. Normally I see them in John's chat. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Well, I'll try to tell Coury to double check.
Yeah, I mean, it's right here. It says Streamlabs. Yo-Yo Yoshio 267 with $1 who said, Mario is made for the kids, Zelda is made for the kids, Sonic was made for the kids, Ratchet and Clank was made for the kids, Jack and Dexter was made for the kids. Being for kids is not an excuse. Kids deserve a challenge like we do. Games didn't pander like this when I was a kid.
I mean, it is true. I understand what you're saying. I mean, I feel like this might be made for a younger kid, maybe in a lot of ways, but
yeah, I mean, I get it, but at the same time, I mean, we didn't have to deal with 3D and stuff like that when we were younger. I mean, I guess a lot of us did, but
well,
I don't know.
Not us. No, I mean, not until we were, 3D wasn't really a major thing until, I was 12.
Right. And I was.
It's you were older than me, and I think I think I was in a little bit more of the right age to adapt. I think
right
to 3D because you were, I was a little more, I guess, malleable at that point. Still,
yeah. Well, I mean,
open-minded. You were very reluctant about 3D at first.
Well, not so much about 3D, but it's more. It took me a long time before I could. Really get used to analog control sticks. I was strictly D-pad whenever it was an option.
I see. There was 999 from Brooks.
Thank you.
Saying, hey guys, hope y'all had a great weekend. Love all the videos you make, and I rewatch them often because they're so nice and relaxing. I just introduced my brother to the channel through Analog Frontiers. Well, I'm glad to hear that. That's awesome. It's, I like to think that's a good entry point for people.
There's another $1 from Yo-Yo Yoshio saying, sorry for the ranting. If you like Balan, that's cool. I was just disappointed. I have a question about TVs, though. Have you ever tried gaming with black frame insertion turned on in your TV? It's usually included with frame interpolation, but separate. So my C8 has it, and I have not used it very, very much. I got to be honest, because what is it? John said, you should only use it on like 60 FPS games, and it's. I'm more the kind of person who just doesn't want to like tweak a lot of settings like every time I play, depending on like based on the frame rate of the game I'm playing.
Yeah,
so it's not something I would do all that often.
I've got yours is a C7 or C8.
Mine's a C8. Yeah.
I guess mine's the C7. I get the model numbers confused at this point. I've got the previous year's model, and mine does not have that feature. So. I did get to go to Coury's house one time and see it in action, and it was interesting. It definitely darkens the picture a bit, but it's weird because like when it's first turned on, you like kind of see the flickering.
Yeah.
And then like I don't know if it's your eyes getting used to it, but it just like after a few seconds, it like stops flickering.
Yeah.
Or at least it stops being perceptibly flickering. I guess almost like.
Oh, she is. I mean, that's like kind of creepy. Like it's
weird. It's weird. I ain't gonna deny. There's some weird things going on in this game.
Yeah.
And I don't quite know what Yuji Naka's deal is anymore, but I don't know.
See, I think that it's easy for me to say like, oh, I wasn't disappointed in this because I was not looking forward to this at all. I think that
that surprises
the people that are probably the hardest on are the ones that were probably really excited about it, and it's definitely not a game that I had really even outside of the first trailer. I was like, oh, that looks pretty good. Maybe I'll get that at some point. I never.
It
really
just surprises me with you being such a Sega fan that it wouldn't have really been something you were thinking about.
Yeah, well, I mean. I'm more excited about the Near Replicant remake that's coming out in 2 weeks.
I'll wait for that to go down in price a bit because I still need to play Automata, and I've played that.
Theoretically,
that
you just
before on PS3 anyway.
So what's going on with these things?
But yeah, whenever I upgrade my TV, which I'm not expecting to do anytime too soon, mostly because I would also have to upgrade my AV receiver to take advantage of HDMI 2.1 and stuff. I'm just not that concerned with 120 hertz and stuff. I've tried it. On my TV, I have to set to 1080p. To do 120 hertz, and it's fine, but it doesn't It's just not a priority for me. You know, I'd rather let the TV technology evolve another few years. I don't have to have an immediate upgrade.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to wait. But you know, hey, maybe I'll like black frame insertion when I get to that. There was $4.99 from a name I love and a name that I can totally get behind. Nonstop Final Fantasy. I'm way into the idea of this, saying keep up the great content. Well, you keep up with the Final Fantasy.
It's a boss time. I mean,
did you do 2 levels already?
Yeah. Yeah, we got another cutscene here. We're getting the backstory of the, you know, the giant lady.
Yeah.
That was like, maybe this was like the origin story for the giant lady from Resident Evil 8.
She had a run-in with Echo the Dolphin.
Yeah. Well, it's evil dolphins, it looks like.
I mean, obviously, it's supposed to be, you know, kind of a.
I mean, it feels like Nights, you know, with a dream aspect to it.
Yeah, it's a very surreal, dreamlike atmosphere.
Ooh. What do we got here?
That thing's pretty ugly.
Yeah.
See Dr. Droop in the chat saying Moranson didn't have decent 2.1 AVR offerings or decent options. Nothing amazing yet though, for a good price. I thought last I heard, I mean I don't know if something new has come out recently, but last I heard no one had one that had properly supported 2.1. Like you couldn't get either like VRR or 4K 120 or something just didn't work
right. I mean, I barely know if I'm doing the right thing, but
I mean,
I'm assuming that this game is just considered to be very easy, right? If anybody in the chat has played all the way through it, is it pretty easy to play all the way through? At least.
I mean, I'm sure. I definitely get the impression it is. I mean, but you know, this is, you know, when I think of this, like it does make me think of games like Chameleon Twist, you know, where it's just very easy breezy platforming.
Yeah,
you
look
know,
at that. That's it.
And like you know, I have a big soft spot for those games because they were, you know, rentals that I enjoyed as a kid, and you know, and I did a video on them years later. Like, you know, I feel like a game like this, like if this came out on the N64 or the Dreamcast, it would be like very expensive and very sought after, and there would be a lot of people singing its praises. I mean, I know it's simpler than what.
Wouldn't it be funny if they did like the Predator thing, where they like just did the arms together and it zoomed in on their biceps?
I saw. Did you see? I linked you to it. There was this great video of the Spanish version of that scene from the Predator. And
yeah.
They put English subtitles on it that was like Protego talking to Capcom.
Yeah.
It was pretty awesome.
I think these little musical pieces are kind of fun. I mean, it's like dumb, but it's like whatever, you know.
Well, like if this game came out on like N64 Dreamcast, like I know that, you know, Yo-Yo Yoshio had a great point of, you know, all of these other games being made for the kids, and there is more meat to them. But there are also a lot of just very simplistic games on some of those systems too, and some of those are today considered, cult classics, and some of them are very sought after. And
yeah, I feel like I could let my son play this, and he would probably get into it. But then again, I mean, he's sitting there playing like essentially the same thing on Roblox all the time.
I don't really understand the whole like mentality of like people who just like focus on one game all the time. Like, you're a streamer and like you're always playing Fortnite or you're always playing whatever. Like that's like the game you are known for playing, and so you're always.
You gotta be real good at it then. You just have to be so good at it.
Yeah.
Like that's really all you can play is so you can entertain people.
And that's what people expect you to play. Like they don't want to see you playing other things. And like I just don't understand that. But then like sometimes I stop and think about it, and I'm like, well, like that's what sports are. Like you get really good at this one game and you play it professionally, and there's people who like the main thing they watch is that one game.
Right.
But one of the reasons I just don't care about sports that much.
Well,
like,
but think of it this way. I mean, the people that
play
are
a variety of games.
Right, but I mean, the people that are playing this stuff professionally, I mean, would you play only one game if you're getting, like, would you mainly, you would only be required to play that game just like in front of people, like, a few times a week, let's say, for
an insane amount of money,
for like several millions of dollars a year.
If you were super good at it, but like I'm not,
like, would you play this game 3 days a week, get really, really good, and be like have the world record at this game here for $6 million a year? And it's not even all you have to play. You just play it in front of people like 3 days a week for a couple hours.
Yeah, I mean that'd be fine. Although I think people who are making that kind of money stream more than that. They stream every day.
I'm talking about like professional sports players though.
Right. Oh,
but I mean, but you have to practice that all the time, so you can, you keep up that like being as good at it, or you could do it for a few years and then quit. Just make your money and quit, and then don't worry about it again anymore.
That's what sports players do. I mean, they usually aren't, don't have that long of a career in the actual game, but like it just. Like, I'm not interested in, like, becoming a master at any one game. I just want to have a variety of game experiences. And, like, that's...
Ooh, we got the lovely lantern. I thought it was going to be that.
Move on from one game to the next. I mean, replay your favorites and stuff. Go for the platinum trophy in your favorites. But, I mean, I'm not criticizing anyone who does, like, focus on like one game for their streams or anything. I'm just saying it's like that's not for me, and I wonder if that's one of the reasons that I just don't have a lot of interest in sports. It's just this like intense focus on one specific game. Like I want to play mini games, not MINI games, but MANY games. There was a $4.99 from Replicant saying, this game looks okay to me, honestly. I prefer watching this to Mischief Makers. I think Coury prefers this as well. Ooh, see. It was fighting words, but see, Mischief Makers, divisive game, but highly sought after and beloved by many, And two, a lot of times you see like games
doing the Spider-Man, that's kind of funny.
Games that are very divisive when they come out, or broadly hated. Eventually, the people who hate those games lose interest in talking about them. And then you start only hearing the people who really love those games talking about them. Like I feel you see that with like, Mario 2 and Zelda 2 and Castlevania 2. Like those games were, back in the day, most people just didn't like those games. But nowadays, like people generally aren't so hard on them, and talk about them, because they like them or think there's something interesting about them. So I wonder if in 5 years you're going to hear
creepy looking. Look at
a lot of people saying, actually, Balan Wonderworld is pretty good. And there was $5 super chat from EB Chill 2. Thank you. Saying, hey, Coury, my twin 3-year-old girls have taken over my PS5 with Astrobot and Lego Marvel. But thanks to you, I'm on my Vega blasting through Time Crisis 3.
Lego Marvel. Are you talking about Lego like Marvel superheroes? Because I just realized I must have gotten that at Goodwill for like a couple of dollars, the Xbox One version of that.
Your son plays on your old Xbox One a lot, right?
Yeah. I mean, they
Oh, that's right. They play on iPads now, though.
Yeah, but there's like, yeah, they're pretty much just like I mean, sometimes like I hook up the Mister for them, and my son like played Streets of Rage 2 a whole bunch the other day.
Yeah.
You can put in the cheat, so I just like put in like invincibility cheat for him, or it was an almost invincible cheat.
Okay.
And it was funny. I mean, for a while there, at first he's like, I don't want to hit them. I don't want to punch them. I don't want to hurt them. Like,
well, they're out to get you.
Yeah, you don't have a choice.
I'm definitely looking forward to finally getting around to Time Crisis 3 sometime. I mean, I've played little bits of it, but I'm looking forward to like dedicating to like getting through it, because I mean, it just seems really awesome.
Oh, you gotta use the light one. Oh, do I not have any lights left? Oh shoot.
There was
I don't know what just happened there. Did I die? Maybe I died.
There was $5 from For the Love of the Game, saying musically and visually, Balan Wonderworld is far less offensive than Mischief Makers. I don't know. Visually and musically though, it's certainly not bad. They have their own, each has their own place. I'll say that. I like how Mischief Makers does. There was $5 from Mega X6 for no other reason than just because.
Thank you. Oh! I thought I was done for.
Oh, is it getting a little challenging?
No. What am I doing here now? Oh.
I mean, the sheer number of costumes is definitely interesting.
Yeah, there's supposed to be 40 or something.
I thought I heard like 60. I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe. Like, I know this is has Sega lineage, but for me, like, for some reason, like, this really seems like just one of those like random
like a 64
platformers on N64 that I would have picked up at the rental store.
Yeah.
And I would have I would have beaten out a rental. It would have been really easy, but it would have made for a fun little weekend. And it'd be one of those things that's like, oh, like, I kind of want it, but I already beat it, so I shouldn't spend my money on it. And then I'd keep wanting it and wanting it and wanting it, and then one day as an adult I would finally buy it. Like it seems like that kind of game, just like Chameleon Twist was for me,
Yeah.
It really seems like that kind of game to me.
The old Chameleon Twisto.
Chameleon Twisto. High voltage screaming action. That is the genre.
I think I know how to get to the closet, like to get the other, or to get back the other costumes from previous levels.
There's like a little portal that you have to like stand by, right?
Right.
it like pops up and you can go inside it.
Yeah.
I think you walked past it. Like, I think you have to like stand on it or something. I don't.
Well, this is the end of the level right here. I was just looking around. I mean, I got the end of the level right here. Oh, there's 80 costumes total.
Wow. I mean, that's impressive, really. For you know.
So, for anybody who watched the stream on Friday afternoon, there was a part of the stream early on where I knocked over my can of Diet Coke onto my keyboard, and
Your
it,
mechanical, your brand new mechanical keyboard.
yeah, and it destroyed it ruined it ruined it. I mean, it was not very much, but every time I would press the Z key after that, it would input CZ, and I opened it up, tried to like clean it up and everything like that, and it didn't make a difference.
Dang.
So, oh, my lights just went down. I'm like in the dark now. Hang on, let me turn.
I feel like CZ sounds like the next sub series of Mega Man that never happened. You know, Mega Man CZ.
But you know, it was only. It was like I got it from Best Buy at the end of February, and it was just out of like the return period. And I got on chat with, you know, like with Best Buy customer service, and they were like not really helpful. I was like, so can I bring it to a store and just see if I can like exchange it? I just want to get the same thing or whatever. And they're like, yes, you can do that. So I brought it in there, and it was like basically no questions asked. Like they just like took it, and they said, well, you know, we'll have to just give you a gift card. So you don't even, you know, I didn't even have to get another one. So I ended up getting another one, but I got like a more expensive one. I was not anticipating getting another one, or I was getting a different one. But then I started looking at the different ones. I got another Logitech, but I got a wired keyboard this time.
Oh, okay.
And you know, it has RGB lighting in it. It does have RGB lighting, because I was like, oh,
The other
whatever.
one was wireless.
What?
The other one was wireless.
Yes.
See, I'm so used to using my keyboard on my lap.
Right.
Like,
well, I mean, I have like a keyboard like you, like with
definitely
a trackpad. I mean, you can just use that as well. I have multiple keyboards hooked up to this computer. I mean, I have a one of those Logitech unifying receivers like on this keyboard that I use with my trackball, but you know, since I use the computer like way back there at the set, you know, it won't pick up the signal from that. So I have like a USB like extender with like the repeater on the end. Like it goes up behind the wall and along the drop ceiling, and then I have like a USB hub like up in the ceiling with a second unifying receiver that's like halfway across the room that it picks up. So I have like multiple keyboards that I can use.
Yeah, I do that too. I have multiple keyboards hooked up too for purposes like that. But I still always use wireless. Well, I mean, normal, unless it's like some temporary setup, I might use a wired keyboard. But what was it said there about picking up a smaller Tim and throwing it at a bigger Tim? What does that do?
Let's find out.
Sounds kind of weird.
I was like, how do I pick them up? And I realized like
tutorial said press X to pick one up, and then a smaller Tim and throw it at a bigger Tim.
Well, I'm only as yellow jewels real quick. They're gonna
Like
eat them all.
the Chow Garden.
So this one I got, you know, like the RGB lighting is kind of cool. You know, you can make it whatever you want, but I was really, really annoyed at first. And I don't know if this is like this with like non-Logitech things, but like some of the cooler effects that you can get with the RGB lighting in it can only run if you have that G-Hub program running. And as soon as you quit that, it just goes back to at first it was like going back to like this lighting that was just like a waves of color going across the keyboard just like rapidly. And I'm like, is this the only option? But I don't have that running, because that's like I would return it immediately if that was the case. But then it turns out you can make your own and save it to it. But some of the but some of the cooler effects can only be had when you have that G-Hub program running. The thing I like is you can do one where it's like one color, and if you press a key, it will turn another color of your choice, and it will slowly fade out. So if you're, like typing words, you'll get to see like the path of stuff you've written. It's kind of neat.
There was $5 from Gindas saying this game has a mixed review rating on Steam, so I think the people who really hate it are just vocal about it.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems inoffensive to me. Like hating something is a lot of work. Like actively hating something is a lot of work, I think. Like you can just say, it's not for me. I'm not sure if this is for me. I really don't know if it is. Like, I could possibly see myself getting it for cheap someday, but I ain't spending $60. No way. But
yeah,
I could see myself getting something out of it.
Yeah, I think that if it had released for cheaper, people would have been. Maybe some people would have been more accepting of it. I only bought it because like someone had said like, oh, they're pulling it off store shelves, and I was like, well, should I get it before if that's going to be the case? I thought it had something. I thought it had something to do with that one song sounding like it was from Ghostbusters.
I mean, I don't know if that's true or not.
Oh, I don't think it's true at this point. It would have been a much bigger deal if it was.
Yeah.
A
Ghostbusters thing, I did hear that though, and it's pretty exact.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's one of those songs from Ghostbusters that people don't really think of, I think.
Right, but like I mean, I immediately recognized it. Like I know the Ghostbusters soundtrack pretty well. There was $5 from Venessarius. Thank you, saying. Sorry, I've been so busy at work these past few weeks, I haven't gotten to hear or know if MLiG is playing on a Wii VC style video for PS3 and PSP closing. Yes, we are. We will hopefully do one on PSP and Vita. We're going to tentatively intend to.
Yes.
But, it would just be way too much to jam all of
Yeah, it's going to be 2 videos.
So we're going to start off with a PS3 video. And that's after Coury finishes the video that he's working on right now, which you're still kind of keeping the topic of that a secret.
Yeah, well, I mean, either people will be like, hey, this is kind of fun, but other people might be like, that's...
I think people will think it's fun once they actually see see how you approach it. But yeah, hopefully that'll release this week. You think you're pretty close to
I mean, I want to get it done like hopefully by the stream, it'll be stream time next week, it'll be done. I mean, I'll try to get it done during the week, but
we'll see.
Really, I keep on like adding stuff to it, so it really just comes down to like when I want to
call it quits.
Yeah, well, I mean, not completely. I mean, there's certain things that I feel I need to put into it that I haven't done yet.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, should I? Do people want to know what it is? Because I mean, now I feel...
Don't say what it is, because I think will be a surprise.
All right.
I
mean, in reality,
crazy, but I think regular viewers of the show will think it's a very interesting thing to explore.
Yeah.
Let's just say that if you like CRTs,
yeah, there's
there's a lot of CRT porn.
Yes. Basically, all of the gameplay is off of CRT.
Yes. But yeah, the video that will most likely release after that will be a PS3,
Yeah, that's going to be the...
I don't know if this is going to be the title, but you kind of framed it as when we were talking about on stream a few weeks ago, you know, a PS3 end of life buyer's guide.
Yeah.
I mean, I was talking about in the Discord channel. I have bought like 14 PS3 games in the past few weeks.
What?
I've bought like 14 PS3 disc games in the past few weeks. It's really, really. I mean, most of them are really cheap, but I you know, like I want to feel done with the system, though. You know?
Yeah.
I want to feel like, I mean, I don't think I will literally never buy a PS3 game again, but I would like that to be extremely rare.
Yeah.
Like I want to feel like I've got my system set up. I've got my games patched. You know, I've got some games on my backlog I want to get through, but I want to feel like the system is pretty well done and settled, and I'm not going to have to worry about it or think about adding things to it in the future. You know?
I'm trying to think what this music reminds me of. This music specifically reminds me of something. I don't know what it is. There was $1 from Yo-Yo Yoshio. Said, can you recommend games set underwater? I've been playing the SpongeBob games and realized that there aren't really that many games set underwater. Seems like there's a lot of untapped potential for underwater themed mechanics. You know,
I feel like, you know, swimming levels kind of fall into the same category as...
that is not where I'm supposed to go.
You know, where everyone like always hates on escort missions. Everyone always hates on swimming levels. And it's like, I don't think they're that bad. I think everyone hated Natalia and GoldenEye, and then just automatically, like, no matter how well it's done, it's like, nope, escort mission's bad. Resident Evil 4 is an escort mission, and it's great. You know? Like, I do not think that either of those things deserve this, like, blanket statement of hate of, underwater. It's always bad. But anyway, like games that are mostly or entirely underwater, like, you know, obviously there's like the what is it called? What's it called? There's a series on like Wii, and there might be some on PS3. Something blue. I have one of them, and I can't think of the name.
All right, I got some golfer action.
I haven't played much of it, but you know, it's something I was always curious about. Endless Ocean.
Oh yeah.
I've always been interested in those games. Like kind of just I see Brian Reno in the chat saying Abzu.
I have Abzu.
Wasn't that free? Wasn't that one of the free games on PlayStation recently?
What? Yeah, it's free until the 22nd of May, or not May, of April.
To everyone, like
to everyone. You
don't
don't have to have an account. You just go onto the PlayStation Network and you can add it to your library.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I see. Stephen Cannon is suggesting In the Hunt. One game for sure would be Song of the Deep, which is an Insomniac game. It was that was released on. There was a physical copy of that released, I believe, exclusively at GameStop. So I don't know if it's like expensive now. It was like a $30. It's like a $25 or $30 game when it came.
Yeah.
And you know could go buy an Xbox One or PS4 version at GameStop. And it's like a little sort of submarine shooter Metroidvania. It's a good little game.
Yeah, Subnautica is another one that's free. I don't know if that is. I have never played that, but I added that one to my library as well. I saw that it.
I saw Jamie Maxwell responding directly to the Yo-Yo Yoshio saying Endless Ocean 1 and 2 on the Wii. Yeah, I've got Endless Ocean Let me look at my backlog again. Endless Ocean Blue World. I don't know if that's. I'm not sure if that's the second one. I picked it up because when I bought, I bought it for video purposes because, in theory, I felt like it was something that we would have to show in, the eventual Wii RGB episode. Local store had a good deal on a Wii Mini, and at the time they were with any Wii console, you could pick any game. You could pick 3 games that were under $10 to get for free with the purchase of a Wii console. And I got Endless Ocean, Blue World, one of the Boom Blocks games, and what was the other game I got?
I do want to say though, really quick, while you're thinking about it, Jimmy Maxwell also said, as for the music you're thinking of is Thomas Newman from American Beauty, and that is exactly what I was thinking of. Exactly.
So it sounds like there might have been a little bit of inspiration going on in this soundtrack, huh?
Yeah. Let's see if we can get over here. Let's try this. I'm gonna go for it. Let's see if this works.
Okay, Blue World is Endless Ocean 2. Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, I booted it up when I got it and, just play it a little bit. It seemed interesting. Like, it seemed like there was sort of a story-driven aspect to the exploration. Like, you're kind of looking for something as you explore. So, I'm not expecting it to be like an amazing story or anything. I'm just saying that it seems to have some structure and direction.
I was gonna die.
I like the idea of just exploring the ocean.
Yeah.
Oh, what was that game that you got from Limited Run that you streamed one time?
Oh, Ace of Seafood?
Ace of Seafood.
The Ace of Seafood.
I don't want a game for you.
Mm-hmm.
There was $2 from Drake 5017. Thank you, saying thoughts on the Castlevania Lords of Shadow games. I've only really played the first one. I mean, I've got the second one, and I've just I play a little bit of it just because I wanted to see how it ran on Xbox backwards compatibility. So I've played 30 minutes of the sequel. But I think for both of us, we've mostly only played the first Lords of Shadow. Is that correct?
Yes. Although I've thought about playing the second one recently, and also I have the Mirror of Fate HD. That was the 3DS game that came out.
Mm-hmm.
I only have it because it was free on for games with gold.
Mm-hmm.
And it's still in my library. I'll tell you one thing. I've been going back and downloading a lot of these games to my Xbox 360, and it is a painful experience.
Oh, more so than PS3.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And it's just you'll start downloading something, and not only is it really, really slow, but also it will halfway download a game, and it will just stop. It's could not complete the download, and you can't. As far as I know, you can't resume it.
I mean, I don't download games on 60. So I'll intend to keep it that way unless it's something that I can play on backwards compatibility. But yeah, I mean, Lords of Shadow. I mean, I think both of us kind of like it. I mean, I thought that Lords of Shadow was a better God of War game than God of War 3. That's my elevator pitch for Lords of Shadow. It's certainly not really what you are expecting from a Castlevania game, for sure. But it's its separate canon. It takes some of the themes of Castlevania, but kind of just does its own thing, and I think that's okay. I thought it was interesting for what it was, and well made, and with some, good I thought the art direction in general was good. Like, I just remember there were a lot of very striking sorts of scenes. Like, I just thought that just visually, it always seemed like there was just really interesting stuff to look at. Although it does not run great on last gen, or at least not on PS3. So I've got Lords of Shadow 2 on Xbox, which is backwards compatible. And someone once told me that Lords of Shadow 2 was they thought the best 3D Metroidvania that they had played. Like, the best.
Interesting.
So that kind of made me think, huh? I mean, I know people are kind of down on those games because they're not what they want from Castlevania, but
I like the first one definitely did well. I mean, certainly the first one did well.
See, I always thought it did poorly because I never heard anyone but me ever say anything good about it.
But it did well enough to get a sequel.
Yeah. That's why I was surprised that there was a sequel because everyone was like always like pooping on it, but apparently it sold well. The main thing that I don't like about it is and we both like agree on this, is that Patrick Stewart was not only like
just wasted. I mean,
poorly utilized, but like kind of actively obnoxious.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's
just
it's
because
the
his bits where he like reads, he acts out, or just like reads like this narration. It's so there's just like so much to it. It's just so wordy and goes on and on and on.
And like
he really just says the same thing over and over again.
Yeah, it's basically just
Gabriel Beaumont was
had the rage and anger building up and seething inside him, and it was tearing him apart.
Yeah, and it's that over and over again.
It's literally that over and over again. And like the thing was, like, in the actual cutscenes, like I thought, for a man who was in a pretty horrible situation, I thought he was doing A-okay, But then like it just felt like Patrick Stewart was like projecting this image of him that, was where the story was ultimately headed, but didn't really jive with how he was presented through the course of the game and cutscenes. Like, that part didn't sit well with me, but, I thought it was a good game for its time, for what it was, I'm not afraid to defend Lord of Shadow a little bit.
Oh, here we go. Got another song and dance.
You're kind of tearing through these.
Yeah, I don't know how many chapters there are.
I mean, from the sound of it, there's a lot of, based on what John was saying,
like
there's a lot
stuff.
of there's a lot of reasons to revisit older stages.
Yeah.
This girl kind of looks like Luca. Got the purple hair.
Yeah, I can see that.
There was $5 from good old Shinjan.
Ah, thank you.
Saying, sup fellas, Coury, one of these days you need to stream an Ease game, just not Arc.
Why not Arc?
I mean, I need to play through Arc myself.
Oh, I see. Okay, just
maybe
now.
Shinjan doesn't like Arc.
I mean, I wonder if I could. I mean, I should play some Oath and Felghana. That'd be kind of a fun stream game. I mean, I could do like a New Game Plus. I played the PC version. Really?
What could you stream Oath and Felghana from?
The PC version.
Oh, you would do that, huh?
He's 9. See, I don't want to ruin. Like, Try hasn't played. You haven't played 6, 8, and 9.
I mean, broadly speaking, yes, but I mean, I haven't played the original versions of 4. I've only played Celceta. I haven't played the original versions of 3. But broadly speaking, I've played a game that represents 1, 2, 3, and 4. I have not played a game. I've not played 5. I've not played Arc. I've not played 8 or 9.
Yeah. I mean, I know John's saying, oh, Ark is the only one I consider it a bad game. And I mean, I wouldn't say it's a bad game. I just think that it's just not a lot to it.
Which is fine.
Yeah, oh, totally.
You know, it's just a nice, breezy, simple action game.
Yeah.
I mean, from the very little I've played of it, it reminds me a lot of Oath and Felghana and Ys Origin and stuff. We streamed Ys Origin.
That's true. We did. Yeah. I did. Yeah.
Joe
was on it with us. Yeah. But I mean, Ark was the first one that was using that engine, which I think is probably why it's not as refined as the other ones. What's this hub world all about? I don't know.
There was 5 pounds from Joshua Finzi. Thank you. Saying, if you guys heard the Kaiko adapter for GameCube, it's not as good as the Wii U via HDMI regarding resolution. I was wondering if that should be the case. Well, first of all, I mean, Kaiko, I mean, I can't speak to their GameCube adapter, but that company is kind of fallen out of the good graces of the retro scene.
Yeah, specifically because of the retro scaler.
They tried to get away with cloning the RetroTink.
Yeah, which is not an open source project. Like,
not an open source project. We initially you tried a Kaiko OSSC.
Yeah, the OSSC is
himself initially, took a look at it, said, okay, they're using quality components in it. The OSSC is an open source project, and it's the fact that they used Matt Buxton's OSSC logo, which is not open source. And then they later fixed that. It seemed like they were doing things by the book, for utilizing an open source project. But then since then, it seemed very much like they're just interested in cloning whatever else is already out there. Not so making anything new, and even stuff that is not open source. They just want to clone it. So, I know that GC Video is based on open source firmware. I have no idea if they are, unfairly utilizing someone else's hardware design for that product. I don't know anything about it. I'm just throwing that out there, just in case you have feelings about, those kinds of business practices. But I would say, any of those GC Video products, you can probably count on any of them to pretty much give you the exact same results because they're based on the same firmware. For the most part, I think, there are some like specialty branches for some of those devices, I believe. But now you're saying that it's not as good as the Wii U in terms of resolution. Technically, that's true. You are outputting 1080p from the Wii U. However, it's not the best upscale. I mean, it's still a 480p source, for your GameCube game. It's not like the game itself is being rendered in a higher resolution. And the actual upscale that the Wii U does from 480p to 1080p is not really considered to be especially good. Some color errors, just some noisy and not all that great scaling. Personally, I don't think it's that bad. I think a lot of people act like it's worse than it really is. The Wii U is a fine way to play Wii games or GameCube games if you do it through homebrew means. It's a totally fine way to do it. I don't have a particular issue with that. However, that said, something to keep in mind, it's always an easy thing to forget, but remember that your TV, if it's a 1080p TV, your TV is also upscaling a 480p source to 1080p, Or if it's a 4K TV, it's also upscaling a 480p source to 4K. So your TV is upscaling just like your Wii U is upscaling. So even though the GameCube adapters are outputting 480p and not, native 1080p or whatever, it's a similar process is happening, whether that's done internally or externally. And ultimately, I would say that the visual result using a GC video product like a Carby or whatever, I use a Carby with my GameCube down here. It looks better than Wii U for sure. And just like I got on my Wii, my actual Wii console, I got Dan Kuntz's Wii Dual Motto. And, I gotta say, it's really kind of revitalized my interest in digging back into my Wii library. Like, I think it looks really good. Like, it's not, it's just outputting 1080p. It's not doing any fancy internal upscale. But I think it looks really good on my TV and in captures. Shortly after I got it, I streamed Kirby's Return to Dreamland. It's a game I've beaten twice before, but I just really wanted to play it. I think it looks really good. So these GC video products, I really do think they give you the best results that you can get from Wii and GameCube hardware right now. Even like the component solutions, if you really, really pixel peep, you're really looking for flaws. If you take the component cables, the official component cables, and like the Insurrection component cables, they look. The new ones look better when doing like the 2x scale on the OSSC. So, I mean, the Wii U is a good and easy solution. But, don't be fooled by the fact that it's outputting 1080p. It's the quality of what you do with that 480p source that matters, not, whether the system itself is outputting 1080p. I saw that there was a Patreon donation. I don't know if it's someone that is in the stream.
Jordan Anthony Ruiz. Or no, that was Jordan.
Carter
yes.
McKinnon.
Right. Sorry, with that, I saw the wrong words.
I'm trying to keep up with the donations here. Hopefully, I haven't missed something else that was a Streamlabs one. The next one I see here is Shinjan with $5. Thank you. Saying $5, but Try can't play anything else until he finishes playing the E series. Well, I don't even have Ease 5. I've been trying to get it, but it I've wanted to get it.
I think that's gonna be the next one.
I think to look for it on eBay, it's always like a complete unboxed copy, and I'm like, I just want the cart. It's not like an expensive game or anything, but it doesn't appear on eBay. At least not when I'm looking for it. I understand 5 is not one of the more popular ones,
right? But I think that's going to get that's definitely going to be the next one. I don't think that they're going to make Ease 10 before they remake Ease 5, because it's really the only one that needs to be remade at this point.
Yeah, and I think a remake for it would. I mean, it's considered one of the worst ones, I think.
Right, which is why I think is definitely going to be one of the next ones.
Yeah.
And not only that, but I mean, so 8 takes place in between 5 and 6. So it makes a lot of sense. I mean, Adol starts with the sword from the end of 5 at the beginning of 8.
I see. But it But I would like to play like the Super Famicom version of it sometime. I'd like to actually play my real cart that I will eventually get So that means I gotta learn a little more Japanese first. So I don't think I can commit to that, Shinjan, sadly. But I do need to make Ease 8 a priority.
Yeah, I haven't beaten 8 or 5 either.
Yeah. Do you have it?
I have a cartridge of it. Is it? I mean, it's
not
that
I mean, last I've seen it, it's not expensive. I just don't see it very often.
Really?
And whenever I do see it, it's like complete in box, and I just want the card.
From what I understand too, the translation's pretty good on it.
The translation patch.
Yeah. I mean, he has
Sure
input.
it is, but I wanna play the real card.
Right. But I mean, by the that's
very
what,
Japanese because like as much as I respect translation patches, like I think one of the reasons I have not played through very many translation patches, I've played through like Sweet Home, Seiken Densetsu 3. That's about it in terms of games that I've played all the way through. Maybe another one or two. Maybe a couple of platformers. I did like Ganbare Goemon 2 on Famicom. But like, as much as I respect what they offer for everyone, like I just don't find myself making the time for them. And I think a big part of it is just like that little voice in the back of my head that tells me it's like, it's not the real ROM.
No, well, I mean, what if you bought the cartridge and you?
I want my system to be reading a vintage ROM chip that was put into a cartridge and
Right. Well,
1990 whatever, and that's just how my brain works.
I get that, but what I mean is like, why not just like you could buy the cartridge and then play the translation.
I know, but like I want to play the cartridge. I want to play that cartridge that I buy.
I mean, I can understand for some games, I can understand with the translation, but this one like had like input and like involvement of like all the people that have worked on like a lot of the stuff like with Xseed and stuff.
Look, don't get me wrong. I'm not like belittling it or anything or saying like.
I mean, but that's why I feel like this one is like.
I'm just saying like I have this urge to want to play the real thing, and that's one of the reasons I'm trying to slowly learn Japanese.
Right. So I mean, but that only applies to cartridges though, with you, right? I mean,
I'd like to do it with disc games too. Although,
I mean, so you're just not gonna play Snatcher, essentially. If you ever wanted to play Snatcher, I mean,
well, if I learn Japanese well enough to play Snatcher, eventually I could play, another version of it. I'm not saying I'm swearing off translation patches. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, as a general rule, like I just don't find myself making the time for them. And I think part of it is because of, that, it's that little thing in the back of my head that just says it's not the real thing,
Mm-hmm. I get it. I mean, I
feel
like that a lot of times.
I'm not swearing them off. I'm not swearing them off by any means. I'm just saying I would like to play Snatcher, but
Yeah, I mean, like I can understand with cartridges, but CDs are different for me. I feel differently about CDs.
And with CD, like I said, I do see myself kind of using the X Station very likely going forward as like my main PS1.
Mm-hmm.
But still, again, I want to primarily play games that I actually, buy the disc of and put on my shelf.
Right.
But still, that doesn't. I don't think that doesn't change this boring state of mind that I have, where it's like I want to play the vanilla version of the game, even if it's through an ODE. Like I want to play the vanilla version of the game. That's just how I think, and if there is a official translation, an officially released version, and
what about stuff like unworked designs?
A vanilla version.
What about stuff like unworked designs? Is that
no? I would never actually play through it. I wouldn't care like what the quality of life tweaks were or anything. I would never actually. I mean, don't get me wrong. Again, I think it.
But what I'm saying is that
it's awesome for the people that want those quality of life tweaks.
But they're not. It's just restoring the Japanese stuff. That working designs changed.
But see, I wouldn't play through it. I just know I wouldn't. I know I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't. That's not to say anything against it, but it's just I know I would not do it. I would either play the American version as it is or the Japanese version as it is. Mm-hmm. Like that's just how I am. I think that's one of the reasons I'm not picky about like a lot of things where like people are like, oh, this is bad game design, blah 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 blah. And I think I have this. I often think of like the spiny shell, the blue shell in Mario Kart. Like a lot of people are like, oh, it's very frustrating game design because you can be the one that's actually playing the best, and you can have everything taken away from you at the last minute for just bad RNG. And it's like, well, you know what? The blue shell is part of the game. Deal with it. Just deal with it. That's part of the game. Like, and that's just kind of my philosophy in playing games in general. Like, there can be aspects of a game that you don't like. You can criticize it. We make our end of the year videos where we, sometimes, have some criticisms with games and say what you like and what you didn't like. But at the end of the day, like if I'm going to play through this game, I'm just going to deal with the way it is, whether there's things in it that I like and things in it that I don't like, but that is the game. I want something that was officially, I want to play the game in the form that it was officially released, whether that is officially released only in Japan, officially released in America. I want to play it as it was sanctioned to be released. And I know that probably makes no sense to a lot of people.
I get it. I mean,
but this is why I wasn't in the hacks video, even that useful hacks video, like, because I'm just not personally interested in it. Like I respect the heck out of it, but that's just my interest is in playing the game as it is intended to be, whether that is good or bad.
Mm-hmm. I get it. I mean, I've done the same. I've been the same way, like I have barely played through any hacks. I think when I think of things like unworked designs, I mean, if I replay the Sega CD version of Lunar, I'm definitely playing the unworked designs version. Mm-hmm. Because I've already played and beat the other one. Sure. And this is just like, I feel it's much more of a convenient way to enjoy that game. Not even so much convenience, but it's just more tolerable. Because there's a lot of I don't want to.
I can understand that too, because you've already played the original version. Like I could see myself if I was in your situation. Oh, I played the Sega CD version when I was a kid. I don't need to do this legit.
Yeah.
There's no reason to suffer through it again. I can understand that, and I wouldn't criticize anyone for choosing that as their first version to play. But I personally, I know the way that I tend to play things, and that's just not something I would see myself doing.
Have I already been this way?
There was, we're probably falling a bit behind now, because that was a long little conversation. 5 Canadian from Tom T17, thank you, saying thoughts on the Time Splitters 2 port recently unearthed in Homefront: The Revolution, praying that we'll eventually get a true HD re-release. I mean, gosh, yeah, I mean,
I ordered it from Best Buy. It's $10 on Best Buy.
It's $10 on Best Buy. At least it was yesterday. I mean, I don't know if
it's sold out. But
if the recent attention could possibly be selling it, making it sell out. But yeah, if you go to bestbuy.com, it's $10. On at least I don't know about PS4. You or the Xbox version as well, right?
Yes.
Yeah, the Xbox One version is $10 on Best Buy.
So is it in the other version too? Is it in the
PS4?
Yeah.
I never heard that it wasn't. I heard people.
What is it? It's Homefront: The Revolution, right?
Homefront: The Revolution. It's. I mean, people were talking about with the PC version even, so it's got to be in all of them. Well, my understanding is, I think there is an arcade. Unfortunately, I believe it is later in the game, so we're going to have to play through this game whether we like it or not. There is an arcade later in the game that after you find it, you have access to it from the title screen. And as the game is released, I think you have access to the first 2 or 3 levels of Time Splitters 2 within it. That's always been a thing. But the entire game is there.
But what?
The entire game is there, but the guy who put it in there forgot the debug codes. Like, I read a little bit about this. Apparently, the guy who
it's Matt Phillips, right?
Debug codes to someone else, like to keep like for safekeeping to reveal it one day, I guess. And then apparently, this guy was like banned from a Discord channel because he said that this was a thing and no one believed him. And it's actually true. So people like I guess reverse engineered or did some debugging or whatever to figure out what the actual codes were, and they figured them out. So anyway, yeah, I mean, I'm definitely excited about that. Because I freaking love Time Splitters 2. I'd love to see a proper HD remaster someday, a standalone thing. But for now, I think it's just such an interesting thing, and we would like to do another games within games video someday.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's got to be like the new poster child for it.
Yeah,
because it's such an unexpected find. This come about so recently. I mean, what a game! What a great game. I ended after I kind of had just I liked the game back in the day, but when I replayed it for that Perfect Dark Zero episode, I just really just came to a huge new appreciation of it. And I ended up buying every version of the game. I used to own the GameCube version back in the day, and I sold it. And then, I ended up buying the PS2 version, and then I saw the GameCube version at a local store for a good price. I bought that, and I saw the Xbox version at another local store for a good price. I just got, now that I know it is in Homefront: The Revolution, I had to buy that because I just really love that game now. It is extremely, extremely good, and they just don't make games like that anymore. It's just such a remarkable thing seeing that GoldenEye Perfect Dark gameplay put into a game that has more modern control scheme sensibilities. It's just magical. It's fantastic. And maybe Homefront: The Revolution will be decent enough. I don't play all that many first-person shooters these days. So, I kind of feel like I kind of feel like it it might not be that bad just because it's I'm not as wise to the the design the current design conventions of the genre, so I feel I'll be pretty tolerant of it.
So I feel like we're really far behind. There's several.
Yeah. I'm going to try to catch up. There was £2 from Joshua Finzi again. Thank you, saying this is in response to the GameCube output question, saying thanks. Should have mentioned I'm using the M Classic. That in that case, I mean, if you're using an M Classic, whenever using those Marseille devices, you should to get the intended results, you need to be outputting the native resolution of the game you're playing. So outputting 1080p from a Wii U of a 480p GameCube game gains you little to nothing with an M Classic. You need to be, so if you're playing, like, say let's say you're playing on an Xbox 360 and you're playing a 720p game, but your Xbox 360 is set to 1080p output. You're not getting the results you're supposed to be getting if your game is 720p, but your system is outputting 1080p. Your game resolution and your output resolution need to match to get the intended results from the M cable. So you want to set your Xbox 360 to 720p. So if you're playing a Wii game or a GameCube game on Wii U, you're going to want to set your system actually to 480p. And that's one of the reasons that a GameCube output device like Coury or whatever that outputs 480p, if you are using an M Classic, that's good. That's a good thing. That will give you the intended result. I personally don't really like the Marseille, what the Marseille devices do to the signal. I'm not really into that look personally. But for the people that do, that is how you should use them. So
some pretty serious.
If you do use the Wii U, set it to 480p. But it would actually be the Coury or any of those other GC video devices outputting at 480p. That's actually the ideal output for the device. There was actually, I don't think we are that far behind. There was $5 from Jonathan Henson. Thank you, saying confession. I've never played an Ys game. Should I start with book 1 and 2 on PC Engine or another one? Those games are. I would personally be cautious about starting with those. I think they're a little obtuse. Even like the PSP remake or whatever. And they're very short, very, very short games. But the bump mechanics are not for everyone. I personally don't love them. I played the PSP version of 1 and 2. I don't love the bump mechanics.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're gonna play one, you should play either the PC version or the PSP. The Chronicles is what one you should be playing. Chronicles 1 and 2.
Although, I have to admit, like, that's kind of I've discovered that there's a lot of PSP games that have like a 2D art style that, like, when they came out, I was like, oh, this looks really good.
I mean, that's why I would suggest the PC
now it's
version.
like, oh, it looks like a mobile game.
Yeah.
That wasn't such like it wasn't such an established convention of what like the mobile game look is. That, like, at the time it didn't bother me, but now I kind of look at games like the Final Fantasy 4, 1, 2, and 4 on PSP, and Ys Book 1 and 2 on PSP, and I was like, ooh, this looks really good. And now I'm kind of like, ooh, I don't know. But anyway, yeah, like I started with Oath and Felghana, which, I mean, I PSP version, but I mean there are higher res versions of that nowadays. I think Oath and Felghana is a great starting point. It's just a very fun, fast action game. No fat to the game. I mean, it's like what, like, I'd say between 6 and 10 hours or something.
Yeah.
It's pretty quick, breezy game. Just very, very fun to play. Ys Origin is very good. Ys 7 is good, but it kind of has more fat in it than a lot of the other games.
Yeah, well, starting with 7, they sort of get a bit longer.
Yeah, 7 and onwards.
A lot more dialogue and even just.
They have a party mechanic too, where you
Well,
change between party members, and they have like all like different weapons and fighting styles and stuff. So they're a little more complex, but they're still very fun, fast action games. I really like Memories of Celceta. I feel like most people like E7 more than Celceta, but I like Celceta better. But
starting with 8, you know, 8 is also fairly long, but they introduce like a town building mechanic to it that is really, really fun, I think, and that you find a lot of like people stranded on the island, and they add aspects to your town or your village rather, and I think it's that kind of thing that makes the newer games a lot of fun.
I mean, I still have yet to play 8, but I'm kind of really getting the impression that 8 has kind of quickly become like the fan favorite.
Yeah, it's definitely my favorite. For sure.
So I mean that in one sense that's a recommendation. But I feel like if you kind of want to play something that's kind of similar to the series roots, but has, I think, better combat than the bump mechanics, I would say start with either Oath and Felghana or Ys Origin. Yeah. Ys Origin does not have 8-all in it, but I mean, I think Oath and Felghana that was my starting point, and I would stand by that. You know, any version of Oath and Felghana. You know, that's a remake of 3, which is kind of 3 is one of the more unconventional games because that one's actually a 2D side-scrolling game. And I've not played much of the original versions of 3, like on Super Nintendo and Genesis. I don't love what I've seen of it, but I kind of want to play through that version someday all the same. But Oath and Felghana is an incredible remake of it that is more, has more normal Ys-like gameplay than the original actually did, because the original is kind of like, Zelda 2 of the series.
This is one with a big piece of corn. Watch the big piece of corn fly at him.
All corn love coming up.
Here comes. Oh no, it's like this is something else, I guess. I thought it was a big piece of corn, or maybe it's different every time.
Are you replaying this level first?
I thought I had gotten this one, but I guess maybe I didn't, because I remember there being a big piece of corn flying at him.
There was $2 from Mitch B saying thoughts on game prices skyrocketing. I know that's been a big thing over the past year. I mean, I haven't been to my local game shops very much at all over the past year. So I haven't really seen a lot of that firsthand. All my game buying has been online. A lot of it has been Japanese games. And, I've always been, buying good prices or cheaper ones lately. I bought a bunch of PS3 games lately, like I said.
Yeah, I mean,
most of them were very cheap. There were a couple that were more expensive than I expected, like, Siren Blood Curse. I did spend $65 for the European version just because I thought it was worth getting that physically. I didn't have any version of it all, even digitally. But I just thought it was interesting enough of a game for me to want to get the physical version of that. While it was still almost affordable, but it's kind of expensive. But things like Folklore, that's, more expensive than I thought it would be. But fortunately for me, nothing that I've really been looking for in the past year has been expensive, but maybe, I would like to go visit my local game shops, sometime in the coming months, and maybe I'll have a rude awakening. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know what I'm looking for that's really expensive right now.
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't think that much about what I'm looking for until I see it, a lot of the time, or it actively. I don't keep a wish list or anything,
Right.
I vaguely know what games I am interested in, but You know, I just forget about it a lot of the time. And, you know, that was one of the reasons that, like, immediately after the stream last week, I went to eBay to look for, Getsu Fumaden. Because I was like, if I don't get this now, I will completely forget about it. And I do want it. I'll remember it, but I won't remember the name. I'll have to ask Audie every time. And, you know, that does not feel like a week ago. That feels like, for some reason, like recently, like it feels like every week has been like 2 weeks. I don't know why. There was $2 for the love of the game saying, how badly do you want Sean Layden back? Pretty badly, to be honest. You know, I actually saw, I never loved the guy that much, but, you know, I mean, there was, I saw somewhere, somehow I fell across a tweet a few days ago that, was a video clip of him from an E3 conference some number of years ago, and he was talking about VibRibbon. And he said, you know, it wasn't a megaton hit or anything, but that wasn't the point.
Right.
And there was some cheering in the audience, and you know, the person who tweeted it said, you know, that this mostly forgotten speech from, you know, Sean Layden from years ago. Like, I often think about how, you know, what a cool thing it was to hear a game executive say, you know, it wasn't a mega hit, but that wasn't the point.
Right.
And
like, I think because of that, people thought, oh, it's gonna come on the PlayStation Store because of that. And that was not the intention, but then they ended up releasing it because it had created that expectation.
But you know, like that really was like, you know, that it feels like right now that's not the place Sony is in anymore, and it's concerning.
Yeah.
You know, that there's I guess kind of a lot of, you know, I haven't really watched the discourse myself very closely, but you know, it sounds like right now Sony doesn't, you know, if it's not, you know, The Last of Us, get out. You know, if it's not going to sell those numbers.
Well, I mean, there's the stuff going around about apparently that they almost
Naughty Dog themselves is working on Last of Us 1 remake.
Which, like, I can't think of anything that I want less.
Yeah, I mean,
that I want Naughty Dog to work on less than remaking The Last of Us.
Will I buy it? Yes. Will I play through it? Yes. But, like,
I mean, I don't know. I just can't imagine, like, they're gonna redo it, but unless they add some, like, major changes to it, I just don't see a reason for it. Just like,
I would play it because I've only played the original game one time, and you know, I'd like to revisit it. But like, that just seems like an absolute waste of their time. I mean, it's like that is like, you know how we've said, like, gosh, I wish Konami were working on a Code Veronica remake instead of a Resident Evil 4 remake, like, because Resident Evil 4 just doesn't need a remake that badly. This is like 20 times more that. Like,
yeah.
The Last of Us does not need a remake. It got a 60 FPS port that you can play in 4K on a PlayStation 5. You don't need a like, who needs that?
Nobody needs that. Nobody really wants it, I don't think.
It's really, I mean, if it's true, it's
I wonder if, like, they see, like, the reaction to that, like, oh, well, maybe we shouldn't do this. Like, probably not, but
it might not be the big hit that they think it will be, though, because people all been there, done that. I mean, it's probably been free on PlayStation Plus or something. Like, people probably already have access to this game. Like, it's kind of dumb. Yeah, like, I mean, the current direction, I mean, PlayStation 5 is off to, as solid of a start as next gen is off to. I mean, it's not the greatest start to the generation for sure. I mean, there's a lack of exclusives and stuff, but at least PlayStation 5 does have exclusives. I think, the medium is about the only thing that can only be played on Series X right now. But right now, it seems like Microsoft is garnering all of the goodwill.
Yeah. I mean, they're working for that. They're working for that goodwill, for sure. But I mean,
Microsoft can pull a stunt. Like right now, like Sony is losing so much goodwill so rapidly that Microsoft can pull a stunt like buying Bethesda, and they're still getting the goodwill. Like that's how like not that great Jim Ryan Sony is. Like it is concerning. Sony goes through these phases of getting really, every time Sony has a blowout success generation, aside from the transition from PS1 to PS2.
Right.
Aside from that, every time they have this blowout generation, they get really cocky and then end up getting like a big dose of humble pie. And I hope they get some kind of humble pie again, because that, I feel, is when Sony is at their best, when they kind of have to like readjust and be on the defensive and regain people's interest and trust. And I feel like that's when they're making their most interesting games. But it's like, let's close Japan studio. Let's not do any games that don't sell millions of copies, not billions, but millions of copies. Let's forget about our old games. Who cares about that old stuff? That this is not the Sony I like. And every time, PS2 blowout generation, they get a big slice of humble pie at the beginning of the PS3 generation, and then they turn the PS3 around, and it becomes a really good system. And then so they go into PS4 with very sensible and measured sort of approach, and they take the generation by storm, mostly because of how badly Microsoft had their messaging before the console even released. They backpedaled all that before it even released, but the damage was already done. People had already decided they liked the PS4's vision for next gen. And then so Sony, got too carried away with their success with PS4, and it just, they're doing.
Now we gotta do it again.
The system is very well made, aside from the fact that it reads the disk drive and that makes my floor vibrate at random times when it does not need to access this drive, and it does not need to vibrate that badly. But aside from that, the PS5 seems very well engineered. It has an incredible controller. That the new features of the controller are really fun, but like they're showing that cocky side again. I think it's going to bite them in the butt, and I'm nervous about where Sony's headed right now. There was another rant. Okay, that was in response to For the Love of the Game saying, how badly do you want John Layden back? Scrolling down.
Yeah, there's
there was a. Can you read the yo?
Yeah, saying
recent one, but
well, there was $3 from EB Chill too, who said in 2041 Audio is going to be streaming this game. Probably.
I'll believe it.
Let's see. So there was $1 from Yo-Yo Yoshio saying, would you ever replace a console with a 100% perfect emulation with advanced enhancements? I've replaced my GameCube and Wii with Dolphin because it's almost perfect. I don't get why you would want to play, why on earth you'd want to play real hardware if it's objectively worse.
Well, stop
running
I'm
scrolling
now. I didn't really catch that. Can you read it again?
Yes. It says, would you ever replace your console with a 100% perfect emulation with vast enhancements? I've replaced my GameCube and Wii with Dolphin because it's almost perfect. I don't get why you'd want to play on real hardware if it's objectively worse. You go ahead and answer that. I'm going to run to the bathroom.
Yeah, I mean, I would keep original hardware around, in part because I make a YouTube channel, right? I mean, I feel like I have to have access to what is that original experience. I want to be able to share and convey for, I don't want to have some like inflated idea that what we are doing with videos is like preservation or anything, but in some sense it could be, because we put videos out there that show definitively this is from the original system. This is the resolution that it could output. As a video creator, I feel like it's important to have access to that, because in some ways also I feel like the original resolution for a lot of games creates a more cohesive experience. John was just talking about this the other day. Like, he loves how Panzer Dragoon Orta looks on current gen Xbox systems, but he's actually not a huge fan of backwards compatibility with most other Xbox games, because of that sort of mixture of like lower resolution HUD elements or menu art with the high res graphics. It's a less cohesive experience, and he prefers to play it at its native resolution on CRT. I don't entirely agree. I do sort of understand the disconnect between that softer 2D artwork versus the high res. I understand that, and that is kind of the argument I'm making. But I think it's done really well on the Xbox stuff from what I've seen. So that doesn't bother me too much. But I understand where he's coming from, and I do think there are a lot of cases where when you see the game in the original resolution, whether it's the HUD elements or background textures or just the way certain polygon models were designed, I feel like when you see it in its original resolution, that creates the context for why the game is designed the way that it is. That resolution itself may have been utilized as part of the design choices. So, and certainly when you compare to a CRT, I don't think it would be fair to say Dolphin, at 4K on your 4K TV is objectively better than 480p GameCube on a 480p capable PVM, or on a HD CRT, or on a VGA monitor with an appropriate adapter, because again, that original resolution, to me, it creates a more cohesive experience. And while I think that in general, from what I've seen on the Xbox upscaling on Series X is better than a lot of other stuff I've seen of how the 2D elements are handled, I still, yes, higher resolution. If a remake of a game comes out, or a remaster with a high resolution, in most cases, I probably would play the remaster if it had nice rescaling of the artwork or whatever. But it still, at the end of the day, goes down to for the average person out there who's just playing games for their own enjoyment. I can absolutely understand that sentiment, but I feel like as a content creator, the original hardware is important, if for no other reason, just to be able to convey this is the original experience. This is how it was designed to be and how it was designed to look. So I personally could never get rid of it because of that, and because of my interest in the original hardware, and also just because I like how the original hardware looks. Who doesn't love having a GameCube in their house, right? Or let's be honest, 3. How many GameCubes do you have, Coury? I've actually got 3.5, I guess.
Yeah, I guess I have 3, probably. One of them is like opened up though, and one of what? So, but there's a reason for it. I have one.
Well, that's why I say I have 3.5. One is junk and it's opened up.
Yeah, but I have a one that has a GC loader, and the other one, is stock. You know, GC loader and GC dual.
Yeah.
Unit.
There was $2 from the love of the game asking, Corey, give an honest review of Balan so far.
I mean, I don't think it's that bad. I mean, it's not. I wouldn't say it's like special or anything. There's finally that statue I was looking for. I mean, I don't know. It's not a $60 game, that's for sure. But I mean, I don't feel that it's I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's bad. Maybe it's just not what people want or people wanted from it. But I think I don't think that it's I don't think it's a poorly made game.
Yeah. I mean, there's I think a tendency to characterize games that are fine as bad, actively bad.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's the you know, it's the mentality of, you know, if it's not like at least an 8.5 or higher, then it's just terrible.
It's not worth playing.
It's not worth playing. I understand somewhat where it comes from, because it's like
people only have so much time.
People only have so much time. Like, why not play the best of the best? But at the same time, though, you know, there might be something special in that game that most people think is just okay. That, like, it's like, wow, like, I love this idea. And it, you know, just tickles your fancy or whatever, you know? And, like, you wouldn't know that if you didn't try it yourself. You know, you can't go off of the, you know, general opinions.
Yeah, I see Extra Dylan 90 saying, I don't think that Balan is worth my time.
But that doesn't mean it's actively bad.
Right. I mean, I could see myself finishing it, but I don't think that I'm going to get all the statues.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Red
Probably
Surface.
I bet it doesn't take very long.
I don't either. He seems something about that hat. Like, what's his face really like?
I mean, I think he's an interesting design, but yeah, I don't trust him.
Yeah.
There was $5 from Chris Schauman.
Oh, Chris Schauman.
Saying, yeah. He was here the other day, right?
Yeah, and now I mean he's my best friend.
I keep forgetting that Chris.
Yes. What did he say? He says, speaking of The Last of Us.
Speaking of the. Do you?
Yeah, I'll do it. I'll do it.
My chat just
Thanks, Chris.
jumped all of a sudden.
Saying, speaking of The Last of Us nonsense, if you had unlimited funds, what game would you attempt to remake and enhance? And I will go with something that I know for a fact that he would easily be able to guess would be my answer. And at this point, I would say Skies of Arcadia. I would. And for fun, I mean, I bet he would like to see a full-on remake of Lufia. He's a big Lufia fan.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. Yeah, I mean, I guess for me it'd be Final Fantasy VI.
Yeah, I can see that.
Trigger. Like, I mean, Final Fantasy VI or Chrono Trigger.
Yeah. Oh man. I mean, I just thinking about remaking Chrono Trigger. Like, I think that anything that they try to do, like, I don't think that it would work if they full on remade it. Like, even with unlimited funds, because they would feel the need to add so much stuff to it. And one of the greatest things about that game is that it's like there's no fat in that game.
Oh yeah.
And just by adding stuff to it, you're gonna ruin that, I think.
But based on how he phrases it, it sounds like you have some creative control over the game results. Like, we're not totally throwing this off into Tetsuya Nomura's hands to make whatever.
I wouldn't trust him to do that stuff because he has no
right. So I mean, in other words,
no restraint.
it sounds like you can put together a team, but you've got the power to say yes and no to various decisions, or to say like, I think this is going to slow down the pace of the game too much. Like we really need to keep to the spirit of the original here. But I mean, you have a good point. Like I feel like Final Fantasy VI would be a more interesting remake than Chrono Trigger, but Chrono Trigger is, I mean, not that Final Fantasy VI isn't almost perfect itself, but Chrono Trigger is like so perfect just as it is on the console it is on.
Yes.
And part of the reason I say Final Fantasy VI as well was I remember in college, I spent a lot of time really thinking this through. Like when I was in like the Fellowship of the Ring came out the Christmas before I started college. So like my first few years of college were like in the midst of the Lord of the Rings coming out. And I remember visualizing like what would Final Fantasy, like if you like could make Final Fantasy VI like in this style of movie, like what would that be like? And like I had it all worked. I think I've told this story before, but I had like titles for each one, and I was going to. I was going like I have a trilogy of Final Fantasy VI movies, and part 1 was going to be from the beginning up through the snowfield battle where you fight Kefka and then Terra esperifies and flies away, right?
Yeah.
I was going that was going to be part 1, and then part 2 was going to be from the search for Terra up through the Kefka moving the statues on the floating continent. And then part 3 was going to be the entire world of ruin. So I was going to call each part Final Fantasy VI, World of Balance, Final Fantasy VI, World of Espers, and Final Fantasy VI, World of Ruin. And I was like, oh man, that'd be so cool.
And it still wouldn't be all out.
Huh?
And it still wouldn't be all out right now.
Wouldn't be. Oh no. But I was thinking of it in terms of a movie, but like, like I would be okay with them dividing Final Fantasy VI up into chunks if they gave it like, the same visual and aesthetic treatment that like Final Fantasy VII got. I'd be okay with it being in parts just because I envisioned it as a college student. I envisioned it with, in this Lord of the Rings-esque trilogy. I think that would be fun. But like at the same time, like I would be okay with, I would really like to see like a Trials of Mana remake of several Square.
Yes. Yeah. Something that's
Nintendo games, like not just the Mana series, but like, I don't know, Final Fantasy 4, 5, 6, even Chrono Trigger. Like, I think they need a little more budget. They need to manage the geometry better so that there's not so much like pop in and stuff like that. But like, I would be like, if you just took that Trials of Mana remake formula and just like kicked it up just a notch to the next level, like I think you could make some really good Super Nintendo RPG remakes with that. It doesn't have to be Final Fantasy VII remake grand scale, but if I had the unlimited budget and whatever, I would do Final Fantasy VI, with a faithful story and turn-based combat in Final Fantasy VII remake quality of presentation. That would be my answer. Back to the super chat. Everyone's dumping such good super chats on us tonight. It just makes me feel they're super chats that make me want to talk,
Yeah.
I can't help it. There was $2 from Drake 5017 again. Thank you. Saying what do you make of Konami at E3 2021? Who knows? Maybe they'll bring Goemon back finally. We can believe. Oh, look, you're sheep man now.
Yeah.
Gosh, I don't know. Like, what could they show? I have no idea.
Is
Unless
it
they're like
happening?
going up to say like we sold Kojima Productions all of our properties.
Oof. Guess this is not the way to do this.
There was I'm sorry for however long ago some of these super chats might have been. I'm just feeling long-winded tonight for some reason. Chris V with $5 saying, here's $5 just for try sounding exactly like I do, talking about recent PlayStation with friends over voice chat. Yeah, I mean, you know, and I've not even been like,
this character design is hilarious.
I've not even really been engaging in like the, you know, the discourse or too deeply, or really following really the conversation at all. But you know, there's all these little worrying things about, you know, what they're doing right now, I guess.
We got Arrow Acrobat.
Is this still the case? I'm scrolling down the chat and I'm seeing some people saying my voice sounded muffled.
It wasn't. I think that.
Was it just Discord?
Maybe I think so. Yeah, I don't know why. Oh,
is it okay? Did it change?
It seems to be okay now. It must. You were getting kind of close to the microphone at times. You were like leaning into the microphone sometimes. I think that's when it was happening.
Oh, okay. I'm leaning back now. So.
No.
It must have been Discord being funky.
Yeah, it seems to be okay though now. I looked at the settings to make sure.
There was $10 from Gabe R. Thank you.
Thank you.
Saying, sorry for off-topic question. Does an Apple A2M6014 RGB monitor work on a Mister or any device with RGB/VGA, or only works with Apple computer? And when will Mr. Video be up? The Mr. Video, we hope, will be up sometime within the spring.
Yeah. I mean, I'm working on it. I just got sidetracked on this other thing, just because it was like a subject that I was like randomly enamored with, and but yes. And then now that we have that PSN thing, like it's being actively worked on, and you know, I will try to get up as
most of June. So
yeah.
But you know, I had a I don't know what would you call it, iMac. My old work, you know, when they were getting rid of a newspaper department, my old boss brought an Apple computer by with, you know, that was one of those like translucent colored ones with the built-in CRT. I don't know if that's what you're talking about. And the only reason I took it was like, oh, like, you know, hey, VGA monitor, but it has no inputs. So I don't know if they ever put any inputs into those like all-in-one Apple computers. I don't know if any of them have like VGA inputs or inputs of any kind. I'm sure some people in the chat might be able to confirm or deny. I have very little Mac experience myself, you know, and since I don't really have an attachment to like Mac, I end up giving that iMac to our good buddy 8-Bit Duke, who has had a little bit of fun with it, I believe. But yeah, once I realized it didn't have a VGA input, I'm just like, oh, this is just taking up space now. So yeah, I think it might only work with the computer, but I'm sure a lot of people in the chat could give a much more definitive answer on that one. Scrolling up. I saw that there was Eric Benoit was a new
YouTube member. There was $5 from Mega X6 saying, what games are you playing for fun off of YouTube? I've not been playing anything. I gotta be honest. I've just been like working on this video, and I've like not been playing anything. I've wanted to play stuff for fun, but I just like haven't had. The timing is not.
Something you were messing around with not long ago, but I forget what it was.
No, I mean basically I've just been working on like other stuff, and have not been playing like really any games these like the last 2 months probably, or maybe the last month or so. Since E's 9, I haven't played anything like really much. I feel like that's a bad idea. Me going up along the side there, I was thinking about going for it, but I feel like that's not something the game would want me to do. But I'd probably
I'd be curious if you could.
I know, but I don't think I could go any further. I think that it just result in me falling through the geometry or something.
You probably need to bring another suit back here later.
Yeah.
I've been playing Bravely Default 2. I'm like 50 some hours in. I feel like I might be really close to a plot twist of some kind. It feels like kind of what we've been doing up to this point has kind of been done. I feel like the next step might be craziness or something. So it's been pretty good so far. It hasn't annoyed me. With Bravely Default 1 kind of had a twist that was cool from a story perspective, but frustrating from a gameplay perspective, and I'm optimistic that that's not the direction that Bravely Default 2 will be going down, but we shall see. Yeah, I've been enjoying that. So I'm torn on what I'm going to do after that. Like, part of me kind of wants to get Monster Hunter Rise, even though I've never gotten into Monster Hunter before, despite trying. Like, I just keep looking at that and thinking, man, like, I kind of liked what I played in the demo. Like, it feels like it might click with me more than any previous one has. I still just don't know. Maybe I don't know. $60 is a lot to spend on a game that I'm nervous that I might not like, you know?
Yeah.
But like, it seems like I might. Like, I don't know. I'm unsure. I don't really know what I'm going to play next after Bravely Default 2. But yeah, that's it for right now. There was $2 from George Frankly saying, when I hear Skies of Arcadia, I spend money. QED. I'm not up on the lingo. Does that mean something these days?
That's right. Pokemon Snap, the new one's out at the end of this month, isn't it? I guess I'm waiting for Nier, and I'll play that when it's new. It's not like I'm not playing any games. I will be playing games soon. I was thinking.
Are you going to get Pokemon Snap right away?
Yeah, I mean, it's probably, the experience I had playing it with my kids with the last
probably
one.
Won't be exactly recreated.
Yes, it's. I don't think it's going to be able to be recreated, but I'll try. We'll see what happens. I don't know what I'm supposed to do here.
Yeah, speaking of Pokemon Snap, one of the games that I ended up buying for PS3 was
that's right,
Japanese version of Africa, which I guess the American version of that is like crazy expensive, and like I tweeted a picture of it on the MLiG account with that, alongside with that and Genji Days of Blade. It was just like, I got my virtual E3 2006 kit in the mail. And then after that, I had to go rewatch one of the supercuts of the E3 2006, because that's just like, I feel like that might be like one of the most enjoyable to revisit like E3 moments ever. Like, it's so bad, but it's so fun. It's just Sony E3 2006. It was maybe the most fun train wreck of any train wreck I've ever watched.
Yeah, I guess the Wii Music was not even a fun train wreck.
No, it wasn't. And I mean, that that E3 conference from Nintendo was like the primary
Reason.
impetus for me going and buying a PlayStation 3 that very week. That's how bad that conference was.
That's so interesting because I didn't. It just happened to be lucky that it was right around the time the Metal Gear came out, I guess.
Yeah. But anyway, like, so I got Africa.
I feel like it was a lot later in the generation than that.
I mean, 2008.
But
anyway, so I got Africa, and you know, some people replied thinking like, "Oh my gosh, that game was so expensive." Like the Japanese version is pretty cheap. It's like $20. Not certainly not the cheapest PS3 game. All things considered, pretty cheap. You know, I would not have spent the money on the American version. Which was weirdly published by Natsume, which is like not even a company I really associate with the PlayStation 3. Like, I'm sure they released some stuff, but I just like can't think what else really. There was $5 from Potbelly Punch saying word of PS3 patches going down seems to be European PSN outage or issue. So much panic that fake info is spreading fast.
Did that happen today?
I published that or parsed that. So is there a European PSN outage because of people thinking PS3 patches are going down or something? Sony gave no indication that. I mean, they in their press release. I mean, unless they're withholding information, which would be really, really crummy. They gave no indication of anything going away except the ability to purchase games. Downloading games, they don't act like is going away. Patching games, they don't act going away. Like, you know, the other week you and I played Contra Hardcore. I didn't even know you could still, or Hardcore Uprising. I didn't even know you could still connect in PS3.
Yeah, it's surprising, right?
But no indication that anything or cloud saves, no indication that anything except the ability to purchase is going away. So I don't know. Well,
does the boy character have different levels or something?
What makes you say that?
Because I bet that the people that you have to save for each person is different, or each character is different.
Well, I mean, I played as the boy in the demo, and
it was still the corn.
It was still the farmer, yeah.
Okay.
So I am caught up on super chats. I hope I got everything.
Yeah, I don't see any more here.
So here's something that was irritating me. I was telling Coury about just before the stream. I've got I'm not wearing them right now because don't really need them when I'm not the one playing games. But I'm just listening to Coury on my speakers. But you know, I've got these Sennheiser HD 555 headphones that I've had for probably like 12
Speaking
or 13
of Chameleon Twist.
more years. Oh, there you go. Lick Shot Lizard. Anyway, one of the things I like about those Sennheiser HD 555s is that when you're wearing them, your voice doesn't sound any different. Your voice doesn't sound muffled. And if there's someone else in the room, you can clearly hear sound pass through the muffs of those headphones very clearly. So like when I'm streaming, I have my headphones on so I can hear you, but I'm actually listening to my game sound over my speakers. And so the external sound you can hear clearly. Now, I was doing research and it seems that the technical term, I've called them like open air headphones. I didn't know.
Yeah, your voice is getting muffled again. I don't know if it has anything. It doesn't seem like it'd have anything to do with like my input.
Well, I mean, it's probably just bit rate, right?
Maybe it sounds weird. It doesn't sound like mechanical like it usually does. It's just like muffled.
No, I sound okay now.
Yes, it sounds okay now.
Well, I mean, I didn't touch anything, so I don't.
Right, I don't know.
Anyway, so I mean, it can't be like my connection or anything. So anyway, you know, I can hear myself clearly, and that's great. And I did some research. I think the term is open back versus closed back headphones. You know, open back, you're supposed to be able to hear people around you. They might be able to hear the sounds coming out of your headphones.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, you know, the reverse is true of the opposite, where it's not as easy for other people to maybe hear what's on your headphones, and which is good. You don't necessarily want them to, but external sound is muffled. But I love them for streaming because it's very irritating to be talking and hearing your own voice be muffled. It's just, they're very good for streaming. Well, I see Q46 in the chat saying all open headphones are this way, try. And no, they are not. And that's why I'm annoyed right now.
Maybe what happened. You said, how long did you have those last ones you had?
I've had them for like 13 years, and they've always sounded like this. I remember,
but maybe they didn't.
No, they did, because I remember.
I mean, maybe they've gradually become worn out and more thinner. The material has become thinner over time, and it had happened at such a gradual rate over the course of 13 years.
It's become more, the sound has become more transparent over time. I don't know, but I know when I first got them, I'm like, this is great. My voice doesn't sound muffled when I'm streaming. It doesn't sound muffled to me. I'm not talking about you guys hearing it muffled. I'm talking about from my own experience. It's just irritating to have a conversation when my voice feels like it's muffled, or for example, I was wearing headphones while there was someone else streaming in the room, like with me, like in person. Like it's nice to have that sound pass freely. So I ordered, first of all, and I'm returning them. I ordered some Philips headphones that were, I was looking at Sennheiser at first because I love Sennheiser headphones. Like even the ones that I have that cover my ear and do block out sound. Like the cheap ones, they're like $20. I love those. I love how they sound. You know, I've bought like 3 pairs of them over the years. Because eventually the stuff started flaking off. And you know, I was having these black flakes on me all the time because that fake leather or whatever that's on them. You know, so I got another pair, and then at some point I accidentally fried that pair. You could probably
get different. I wonder if you could get different pads for them.
Well, hang on. Let me finish my stories. I fried those because I plugged it into a headphone jack that I thought was a headphone jack, and it was not a headphone jack. So I got another. I love those. I love those cheap Sennheiser headphones. But again, those are not the kind that the sound freely passes, open back or whatever. So I got these Philips ones because, like, you know, I was reluctant to get something that wasn't Sennheiser, but I saw that it had, you actually plug in the cord. And I was like, oh, that's cool. You can pick your own cord, or like I could sometime like attach like a wireless adapter to it or something and have like wireless headphones optional. That'd be cool. So I thought that was really neat. So I ordered them and I was like, okay, these seem really cool. You know, and I put them on and it's like, dang it, my voice is muffled. And they were called open back headphones. My voice was muffled. So I put in a request to return them to Amazon. And I was just like, well, that's the last time I buy headphones that aren't Sennheiser. I order HD 559 because they're like I assumed they were probably the most similar to the 555s that I have now, and they were like they were like $100, whereas like most of the other ones are like $200. I didn't I just wanted an extra pair because those are the plastic is starting to fall apart on them, and I have ideas for how I could use two pairs well. So I thought, well, I'm just going to get a pair of very similar headphones because I love these. Well, these 559s come, and I'm all excited, and I put them on my head, and it's like, dang it, my voice is muffled when I can't hear myself as clearly. And it's not as bad as like, other headphones, certainly, but it's not the open back experience that I am accustomed to. So what is the deal? Q46 says my 428 desk office beater headphones are like wearing nothing. I mean, that's what I want. I see Henry Clark saying 560S are even better now. Is that a Sennheiser? Are those
Try the HD 560S.
560S. Henry Clark saying I just upgraded my HD 555 headphones. Same as try after 14 years. They've been amazing. The HD 560S. Do you understand what I'm saying? Where like you put the 555s on your ear and the external sounds, including your own voice, don't change. Is that the same experience you're talking about with these 560S? Because it's driving me crazy. Because I'm like, there has to be another pair of headphones that gives me this feature that I'm looking for from the 555s, and I just assumed all of those Sennheisers of the that higher end Sennheisers in this price range was like that. Intercolor's going to do a direct comparison right now. Give him 5 minutes.
All right, I'm going to go to level 6. I'm just doing the first
What
scene of each of all these.
What was the model number on it again? HD 560S. I'm gonna look that up. Sennheiser HD.
I'm guessing if there's 8 worlds, maybe 7 worlds. It looks like there's enough for 7 more, or one more level. The girl in the kitchen. Oh, this is a different looking level. It's kind of nice.
I really, I did a search for this. I see that there are the 560. I see there's $200, but like at this point, like I feel like I might just have to do it. I'm not getting what I'm looking for out of the ones that I'm trying. I'm going to have to return them. Like it's just not what I want.
I don't know. Like I feel like I wonder if it's something in your Discord is doing. It's like causing. Because I haven't changed any settings here, or it's just
might be my internet not having enough bandwidth or something. Test. I mean,
it's just when you're talking after a little bit, it will go muffled.
Nothing weird going on. I mean, it's probably just internet issues. I don't know what else it would be. I mean, it seems pretty normal to me. I mean, that kind of stuff happens. This level was also in the demo, but I didn't play very much of it. Yeah, I had the corn level, this, and I think maybe one other. Another set is the
you got the gear prints.
There's also the HD 599s on Amazon here that are the same price as the 560S, both $200. Ugh, I really don't want to spend that. I might put
How much are they?
$200.
Wow.
I mean, for good headphones, I guess, really good headphones, I guess it's not that bad, but I don't want to spend that much. I might just put it off if I'm going to have to spend that much. I might put it off for a little while. But they've also got these 599s that come in an ivory color, and it's like It's like kind of this like ivory white and like chocolate color scheme, and it looks amazing. I almost ordered those at first, but I was like, I'm not like the biggest audiophile in the world. All I want is headphones where the sound passes freely through them while wearing them. And I'm like, I looked at my Amazon history, going back to whenever the heck I bought those 555s, and I spent like 80 or 90 or somewhere between 80 and $100 on them. I forget exactly what it was, but so I thought, oh, okay, well these other headphones are in the same price range, so they probably are like exactly the same, just a different amount.
I mean, I'm guessing that there's 7 worlds in this. Oh.
Well, let's see Andrew Marvin sticking up for the 599. I mean, I do like the color scheme of that ivory. See, Aaron in the chat saying, "Was the MLiG mail address? I will buy you a set of KPF." I'm not sure what KPF is. I mean, if you want to spread the good word of your own favorite headphones, I would graciously accept. If you ever want, there are if you go to the from the main YouTube page, if you click on the About tab, there are mailing address PO boxes for both me and Coury. We don't live near each other, so we have separate PO boxes. I wouldn't.
What is it? The KPF? I don't know.
KPF. I'm not sure if that's a brand or. Oh, COS.
Oh, there's like got some shoes out here.
Apparently they're cheap. Yeah,
just something about this game, like the way the characters look. It makes me think of like, in the way like the movement of the characters. It makes me think of what is it? That one cartoon, or the CG animated Miraculous. Miraculous and Cat Noir. I don't know, something about this that makes me think of that for some reason.
But just go to the main YouTube page for My Life in Gaming, youtube.com/MyLifeInGaming. Just click on.
Well, technically, if you just scroll down on the page that you're on.
The description?
In the description, it should be at the very bottom of the description.
Okay, yeah. Mine's the North Carolina one.
Oh, we got $20 from Roy Camacho. Thank you.
I love that name, Roy Camacho.
It's President Camacho. Is that or is it Camacho? President Camacho's whatever. Okay.
I don't know what we're talking about.
With the PS3 internal clock that requires a validation to reset once the CMOS battery dies. Once this all happens, all the digital games on the PS3 won't work without the sign-in. With the service down, will they still work?
That's been something we've been talking about a lot. I mean, this was fiercely debated in the MLiG Discord the other day. Like, people have been saying this is an issue, but there was like another video. There was like another video where someone was demonstrating that it's not an issue if the battery dies. You just you get the time. You set the time on the PS3 via the internet, and and then it's fine. Now, what I don't know, I don't know if someone knows this, but what I don't know is that a Sony service? Is it connecting to something else? Like when your phone gets the time, is it getting it from Verizon? And when Windows gets the time, is it getting it from Microsoft? Or are they all just getting it from something else? I don't know.
Henry Clark knows what I was talking about, by the way. He says Dwayne Elizondo, Mountain Dew, Herbert Camacho. President Camacho was from the from Idiocracy. Never seen that movie.
Oh, okay. But yeah, I mean,
well, yeah, I mean, we don't know if it's actually gonna happen, or if he can. I mean, we don't even know if it's a Sony service.
Yeah, like, I mean, here's something I can tell you. Like, at some point, the ability to pull CD album titles and track titles went away. Like, it hasn't been able to pull anything for years when I try to rip CDs to PS3. So where did it pull that from? I don't know. The time we just don't know if that's going to be a problem or not. I mean, maybe someone knows, but I don't know. But I'm less concerned overall with my PS3 digital library. Like, I mean, obviously, I don't, I want to try to protect it and do what I can. But I don't have like I mean, I've got a good chunk of digital games, but it's not overly extensive. I'm more concerned about my physical games, making sure they're patched and everything. I mean, as far as we know, we don't know of the patching service or any other services going down yet. Of course, it's almost certainly just a matter of time. But and that's why we're kind of prepping our systems now. There's no better time than now to like get your PS3 systems ready for the long term. Like, is it a good idea to do some preventive maintenance on that battery? Is there a way to provide a backup battery for the backup battery? I don't know. I don't know if there's some solution. I mean, it's something we would love to know more about before we do a video, though. It'd be nice to know a little bit more about it. But yeah, I mean, right now I'm more concerned with just getting my physical stuff together. I don't really know how much, if anything, I'm really going to spend. I spent some money on some last minute like virtual console and WiiWare games. But PlayStation 3, I'm not sure if I will or not. And there's always the possibility that someday I'm just going to have to, hack one of my two PS3s and pirate away. I mean, the sad reality is that I don't understand why Sony wants to do things that actively encourage piracy. I mean, don't get me wrong. No shaming on piracy on things that are not actively sold. I mean, that's, that is a failing of the industry. And, pirates are, even though I try to limit how much I myself engage in piracy, I acknowledge that is the long-term future of preservation. There's no way around it. And ultimately that will be what saves the PS3 library. I mean, it's the plain and simple truth, even though I would like myself to, for my PS3 use to be as legit as possible for as long as possible, but that might not be forever. I don't know. Do we know how long those batteries are supposed to last?
I have no idea.
I mean, I feel like this is an issue people would have been talking about much earlier. Like, I mean, Sega Saturn batteries die like every 2 years.
Oh my God. That's like being generous.
It's really stupid how...
That's being obscenely generous. I mean, like, I want to say that the batteries on those die like every 3 months.
I when I got my Saturn, I put a battery in it, and like it died so fast that I've never put another one in.
Yeah, I wouldn't even be surprised if it lasted a month. Honestly.
There was a $5 from good old JPEG.
Oh, thank
John
you.
Perry G saying saw on the news a story about monkeys on the loose in Cincinnati. I'm
Yeah.
hours away, but I immediately thought Ape Escape real life.
Yeah, I mean, my wife came home and says, I just heard on the radio that there's monkeys loose
You,
from the zoo.
you know, I remember when I lived in Cincinnati. As a kid, I was at the I was at the zoo with a friend and his mom, and I, I remember we were walking down this sort of outdoor corridor that was connecting sections of the zoo, and there was this zoo employee running down the corridor, and he goes, "Get out of the way, bobcat coming." And I'm just like, I'm just there, my heart skipping and then a bobcat construction vehicle comes around the corner.
Yeah.
And I in retrospect, I have no idea if he was if that was an everyday joke at the zoo, they're just I gotta get him, or if he completely innocently did not have any idea the fear that might strike in a person when they are in a zoo. It's kind of horrifying.
See, the PRAM battery in the PS3 is very different from the Saturn battery S4, but yeah, at the moment, your PS3 tells you can't play the games you paid for. Pirate away. I mean, I assume it's synced up to Sony servers, but I feel like all those things should be synced up to like a worldwide thing that would basically never go away. Would never go down.
Yeah.
So there's only enough things on here for six. For six
of course,
levels.
one problem too is just for the long term, getting your PS3 online. So I've heard some people already have security on their routers that the PS3 can't use.
Right.
And both of us have PS3
you can't you
don't
can't
even have the Ethernet's broken on my Slim and your Super Slim.
Right. Well, you can't transfer games from your Vita to if you download games on the PS3 and transfer them over the network or via USB cable to your Vita. You can't do it if you have two-factor authentication set up on your Sony account.
Oh, really?
It doesn't work. You gotta turn that off, transfer, and then you can turn it back on afterwards.
I see that auto_named pledged $1.
Oh.
And I wonder if auto named is called Raitot named in Japan. Apologies if auto named does not get that joke and is in the chat.
Well, it's after 11. Do you want me to try just pick something else, play something else for a few minutes?
Yeah, why don't
I'd
you
have to
wind
download
down
something.
a little something else. What you got on your PS5?
Well, I don't really have anything on here. I mean, we can look at. I could probably download something fast.
No, kill your internet. Or kill the stream.
No, but it's small. I mean, I could always just turn on my.
What about Cursed Castilla?
That's a disc game, though. I have to go and grab it. I was just looking for something I could download.
I feel like you could install a lightweight disc game faster than
Probably.
you could download something. I think Joshua Helmke wants Rez.
I bet I can download that fast. This is another one that's free right now, I think.
Oh yeah. There's that Abzu.
You know what I really hate about the PS5 is like I don't understand why when you delete games from the hard drive, like it keeps these empty icons on here.
Oh, that's dumb.
Yeah, I don't know how to get
I've
rid of them.
deleted anything that wasn't on the front hadn't been pushed off. They have got to add folders to this soon.
Yeah.
Like if they never add folders, then like the menu experience is like gradually getting worse every generation.
Yes.
I mean, this is still better than the Xbox interface, but it's not quite where I want it to be. Well, there's Ace of Seafood.
There it is, the Ace of Seafood.
The Ace of Seafood. Whew.
I guess I have to log into the other account.
All night, Sandy. Did you manage to get any sleep?
Let me see if I can. Let me go back to the game here. How long is it? Oh, it's 17%. I'll quit here. I like how it's.
Folders, there's no excuse. It's true.
Yeah, I can't believe
they were added later, but still.
Oh, there's a photo mode.
Looks like there's some curiosity about Ace of Seafood.
Oh yeah. Well, I streamed that. A long time ago.
Yeah.
How do I get out?
Did you ever beat it?
No. How do I get? Can I get out of this? It's a one-button game, so you can't actually get out of the photo mode once you're into it.
I'm still blown away that 3D Dot Game Heroes had a photo mode.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Ace of Seafood is epic.
Kind of is.
I don't even know if there's any conventions even happening this year.
I don't know if anything's like for sure confirmed or not. There's $5 from Jamie Luna. Thank you. Saying, hey dudes, just wanted to say how much I love ya. Keep gaming and hope to see you again at the Retro World Expo.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, Retro World is definitely one I'd like to go back to. I who knows when they're going to have one. I don't know if they're speculating they might have one this year or not. It's crazy to think just how long it's been.
You know what I'm gonna do? I mean, I have this on my. I feel like I could turn on my PS4 fast enough. I'm gonna just do that.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't been to a convention since.
Gosh, it's been.
Was Retro World the last one? Retro World 2019?
I think so. Yeah. Man.
Well, and then there was the like tech get together in Cincinnati, but that was kind of different. That wasn't like a full on convention. But yeah, I think that was the last regular convention. I mean, gosh. I'm looking forward to going back to one sometime. I mean, I haven't seen. I mean, this is the first time, like, since this is probably the longest stretch that it's been that you and I haven't seen each other in person since.
Oh
Like since we met in person for the first time.
Yeah.
Like it's been like a year and a half or longer since we're just at a year and a half since we last met up in person. And like the first time we met in person was MagFest, and gosh, I couldn't even think what year. Probably 2011? 10 years ago?
Yeah.
Jeez. How old would you have been 10 years ago?
32.
Like I can't even, like, it's so weird to me to think of you being like
32.
younger than me at a time that I knew you.
Yeah. 32.
Like I remember, we always, teased Drum for being the old man of the backloggery. And I remember when we streamed Four Swords Adventures, like it was like I think one of those days that we were streaming it was actually Drum's 30th birthday. And like we had gotten together the year before to play New Super Mario Brothers Wii in 2009.
Gosh.
It is so weird to me to think like we've always joked that Drum is the old man, and yet like I've met him in person when he was in his 20s. Like,
it seemed like he was so much old at the time. And it seemed like he was so much older at the time.
Yeah, well, I mean, he was, one of the older people in the gaming communities that, like, isn't it wild to think that, like, it wasn't that long ago that it feels like, oh, someone who's, like, almost 30 is old for the gaming community. Like, isn't that wild?
Yeah, it's unfortunate, really.
Like, I remember it wasn't even that long ago that like when we met, like I think it was when we met Happy Console Gamer at Too Many Games.
Yeah.
You were like, oh, like I think he just turned like 40 or 41 or something. I was just like, no.
Yeah, I mean, because like, he's only like a little bit older than I am. I think he's only a little bit older than I am, but
yeah, but you were still in your 30s at the time, and like I remember thinking I never thought of like people in the gaming community that I was like interacting with, like it just felt like there was no one in gaming that old outside of like executives and some of like the long time like creators like Shigeru Miyamoto or whatever. It just feels like I didn't have any friends that were like in their 40s. And now it's like so scary that like most of my friends are either in their 40s or very close to it.
And you're on a downward slope towards it.
It was not that many years ago that I just like that having friends that were 40 years old seemed unfathomable. Like it's just like that's so old. And now it's like not that weird for like to occasionally run into someone. It's like, oh, they're in their 50s,
Yeah,
like it's so wild. Like it doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, you think about, so 10 years ago I was 32, and in 10 years, when 10 more years pass, again, I'm going to be 52.
I mean, my Sennheiser HD 555s are older than that. Older than like when you and I met for the first time.
Yeah.
There was 499 from Clutch K-Man saying, big fan, guys. Thanks for everything you do. Well, thank you.
Thank you. Hope you're enjoying the Rez. Got a 830 Rez. Had Dorsia.
Vanessa Arias says 40s are the new 30s, and Joshua Helmicke says 40s are the new tweens. It's wild. Time is weird, man. Time is weird.
Have you played this? Do you have this game? You signed up for the free. You got the free copy of this.
Yeah, I got. If it was free with the free games, I mean, I want to play it after I now understand what's the guy's name.
Why did I have? I forgot last week too. Mizuguchi, Tetsuya Mizuguchi. Yeah.
Yeah, after I played Tetris Attack, I was like, oh,
Yeah. Well, then you tried Did you finish Child of Eden?
Yeah, I did. I liked it.
Yeah, I mean, this is.
It's basically Child of Eden, but like without the video.
Yeah, I mean, Child of Eden is essentially like the spiritual successor to this. It's not even like the actual straight up sequel to it.
I mean, you have the unpopular opinion of liking Child of Eden more.
Yeah, I just like the poppier music in Child of Eden. I think it just works better, and I think that's one of the reasons I like Tetris so much too.
Mm-hmm.
Tetris.
What's the most accessible physical version of this game? Like, is like the HD version like pretty expensive at this point? Like,
no, I think they're just doing a reprint of it.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I thought this.
But it comes with like a special case or something.
I am 8-bit or something.
Yeah. They're doing like I think there's like a reprint of it happening. But it comes in like a weird, like eco-friendly case.
Oh, are they doing that?
But you know, it's been patched many times, so like that'd probably be the one to get. So it'll probably have all the patches and stuff on the disc.
I'll look into that because I mean, I know I can play it for free on my system now, but like I know I'm not going to commit to it unless I buy it. You know, that's just how I am. So if it's not expensive, I'd be into.
I don't know how much the reprint is. I'm not even sure if it's still up for order anymore.
I am 8-bit for the reprint?
I don't think so. I don't remember though. There's $2 from John Perry G. Thank you. Saying, what systems are you guys cutting off collecting at? I will probably stop collecting once everything is completely 100% digital.
Yeah. I mean, once it gets to that point, in general, like, I won't say I would like never buy a new game again, but like, because
shoot.
I would probably want to play Mario and Zelda and Resident Evil and Final Fantasy, but like, I don't think I would as enthusiastically consume new games at that point, and I would mostly focus on, the backlog of things that I do own physically. But, I mean, I guess I do trend in the collector direction these days, as much as I sometimes try to deny it.
Yeah, I mean, you just gotta admit that, like, to an extent, I mean, just say I'm a collector of good games. I'm a collector of games that I like. Or I'm a collector of games that might be interesting to do videos on.
Right. I mean,
I'm in this weird place where
I don't expect to be good per se, but like I just think there's something about that I consider interesting for one reason or another.
Well,
and if it was cheap and it was bad, but it was interesting for some reason, I might buy. I just bought Haze on PS3 because I know people don't generally like that game, but it's made by Free Radical, so it's got GoldenEye heritage in it. That is an interesting enough reason for me to want to own a game and play a game. Like I'll suffer through a mediocre game if I just think there's something interesting about it or something some connection to a developer that I like or whatever. I'll play it. But you know, I buy games that I do envision myself playing it and beating it and marking it beat off my backlog. Now, I know that my backlog has become extraordinary in recent years. And getting to zero again may never happen unless games go all digital. And then I mostly do focus on, uh, the existing generations with physical games. But I mean, I don't, I mean, I have a lot of Switch games. Like I have really bought a lot of Switch games. And PS4 games. Now, PS5, I've only got one game so far. I've only got Demon Souls. But I mean, I buy games I want for systems I have. No matter how new or how old. I don't, have like collecting goals in general. I mean, there's no console or handheld or anything that I would envision myself going for a complete collection for.
Mm-hmm.
Certain series, maybe, like
this game
Kirby.
Never got a physical copy, and it's really a bummer.
I've got every physical Kirby game, except I don't have like all the Japanese versions or anything like that. But I've got a version to represent every physical Kirby game, including Superstar Stacker from Japan. I like collecting alternate versions of Resident Evil games that I really don't need. I like, just like, the Japanese Dreamcast version of Code Veronica X or whatever, and the PS3 physical copy of that has Code Veronica and Resident Evil 4 in it, and just all these unnecessary versions. But I buy them when I see them for cheap. I don't, I don't have any intention of like, oh, I'm going to have every version of every Resident Evil game. No, but I just like having them. I just like having several of them. I think they're interesting, especially when they can be got for cheap. I don't have a lot of like completionist collecting goals or anything. So
right.
So
it's a curated collection.
I've got every Mario game or every Mario, tangentially related game for N64. I've got all the Mario parties. I've got Dr. Mario 60. That was the only reason I bought Dr. Mario 64 when it came out. Like, this is a collection that I had when the N64 was still, a thing. Mm-hmm. Like, I just happened to have bought, over the course of the generation, every single Mario-related game. And I didn't have a lot of interest in Dr. Mario 64, but like, it was the end of the generation for one, and there wasn't a lot else to buy in the year 2000. Would have been 2001. I think it came out in 2001. I think it was the same year the GameCube came out. And it's like, there was like 2 games worth buying on the N64 that year. So it's not like I was spending my money on much else. Other than some PlayStation games and some Super Nintendo games, which were still cheap at the time. So I was just like, well, I can't, like, in this generation where I own all of these Mario-related games, every Mario-related game for the system, and just like skip out on Dr. Mario 64. So I gotta get it. So I got it when it came out. That is a collection that I've owned since they were new. But yeah, so yeah, I mean, I just, I buy what interests me for what I have. It doesn't matter how old or new it is. But and I don't buy what I don't want to play. If I want to play it, I buy it or wait for the price to go down.
Too bad this game never got a physical release. I thought it was going to happen
I
many
know
times.
a lot of people really like it.
Yeah, I'm not doing. I was doing okay for a while there, but not so much now.
There was €5 from Francisco Atunes. Thank you. You're either staying up really late or waking up really early. Thanks for tuning in. It says, thanks for all your work. Since Rez was originally on Dreamcast, timing is perfect to ask. Would you consider an RGB 200 episode on that console? And
Oh.
yes, absolutely. That's
100%.
probably the most requested one, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I think that when once you finish with Analog Frontiers, like I think that that's going to be like probably one of the first things that we tackle.
Probably we'll need to ask Steve like how close the HD Retrovision cables
I mean,
are.
I think that they're really close because they,
Like,
they had packaging and everything already made for them, and I mean,
Yeah,
I think
like,
they're
if they're close enough to for us to be able to get our hands on retail equivalent samples, then I'd say it's time to do it, because that's like the last big thing that would like feel missing from an episode on the Dreamcast. Like, it would feel weird knowing how imminently those are coming out. We intended to do Dreamcast in 2020, but then nothing in 2020 happened as expected. So we did not do. I mean, it's been embarrassingly long since there was an RGB 200 episode. And I apologize profusely for that. Maybe this is risky to say, but I think the geometry episode will happen in 2021.
Yeah, I mean,
I feel like whenever I bring my, at some point this year, I'm going to have to bring my 20L5 to Steve, because I don't know if I can make it to the end of the year without my 20L5. I need him to work on it. I feel like after that, I'll feel like, okay, it's time to make this happen.
Yes. I have not really played this version.
What version?
Just a Ultra Street Fighter 4, like on the PS4.
Well, it was originally on PS3 and 360, right?
Yeah.
I have not seen a lot of this game in action. I've always been very confused about how well or not well regarded it is.
I think it's pretty well regarded.
Like, didn't it launch kind of with like a lot of incomplete content though? That kind of
No, I think you're thinking of 5.
Oh, okay.
How do you like my outfit?
I couldn't even keep straight in my head if this was the most recent one or not.
No. 5 is the most recent one. I'm not great, but I mean, I don't know. I'm not bad.
There was $5 from Z-Crust saying, do you find gentlemen have any insider info on the RetroTink 5X? Yes, but I'm not sure how much we can say.
Yeah.
Let that be a little tease for you, I guess. I'll just say that you should definitely be excited for it. But I'll also say I don't know the final price, but you should not expect it to be like, you should expect it to be more than like a fair bit more than the RetroTink Pro or the OSSC. Like, it's, it's very much like a, top enthusiast level, gotta have the best for everything kind of proposition.
Omiglio is saying, have any of you had any troubles copying PSP data from PS3 to the PSP? You might want to try to see if you have two-factor authentication on your Sony account, you should see if that's affecting it. You got to turn it off if you want to transfer stuff. At least that's the problem that I had last week.
Joshua Helmke has very high praise for the hitboxes in this game.
Yeah.
Apparently, they are perfection.
Huh.
We got $10 from 90 Demons.
Oh, thank you.
I hope you got those 90 demons under control. Saying, your channel is the reason I collect and repair and revive retro consoles and games. I seem to lost my way in my 20s, but since you started your channel, you reignited my passion. Thank you. Well, that's awesome to hear. It's always kind of mind blowing to me. We've heard a couple of people tell us that kind of thing, and like it kind of blows my mind to think like we have inspired people to like work on consoles, like repair them and work inside them, when that's like kind of a little bit outside our comfort zone. Like you haven't worked on soldering as much as why does Cammy not look like Cammy?
It's not because it's not Cammy.
I know, but it is Cammy. Who is it?
Well, Cammy is part of this group of M Bison's like private assassins or something like that.
Oh, is she like a clone?
I'm not sure if they're clones or how like the full on story is behind them, but she was like brainwashed or something like that and was able to escape.
I see. Yeah. Anyway, I mean, I know Coury has dabbled in lightweight modding, but certainly nothing like complex levels like any SRGB mod or anything
Right.
that requires really fine soldering. Look how casually these people are just like wandering around staring at these trucks while you're just like fighting. Like,
well, every time somebody falls down and hits the ground, look how they shake.
but they just like don't even look at it. Like they're enamored with these trucks.
Yeah, they're excited about it.
But yeah, I mean that's awesome to hear that we've like inspired people to go above and beyond what we ourselves feel comfortable doing. We just like the result of the mods. We like utilizing the mods, but creating them or installing them is it's a little outside my comfort zone. There's $2 from Dustin Kramer, who I don't have much of an answer for this because I don't really know of any outside of of Shin Long.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely the most iconic. Someone was tweeting recently about like if something of that similar caliber happened of that Shenlong April Fool's trick, if that something like that happened today, like people would be so mad. Because I mean, at least with April Fool's stuff, basically within a day that it's fake. Mm-hmm. But imagine like essentially never being told that it's fake, and you're like people are just going to arcades spending tons of money and time to try to get this, and it's not really actual. It's not real. But I remember like a lot of that stuff when the idea of like editing photos seemed impossible. I remember it was so mind blowing. They had one screenshot of Sonic the Hedgehog running down the hill from Strider, and it was just like, holy cow! Like, how is this even happening? But then another good one was Simon Belmont being unlockable in Ninja Turtles 2, the arcade game. There was some like photos of that.
Speaking of April Fool, did anyone catch Way Forward's April Fool's trailer for Are We Soulmates?
Oh
Or
my
I Just
God.
Being Way Forward. A way forward dating sim. Because I did the trailer for it. And even, based on their descriptions of the scenes, I even made, I even constructed the fake gameplay scenes that are toward the end of the trailer. It was fun. I think it was more work than me or any of the other people who were involved in creating the art and concepts thought it would be, but it was a fun thing to do.
Jeez, we got Ricky Pond with $20. Jeez, thank you.
Pond.
Saying hi, I have a question for you
you.
guys. Do you guys have any DOS do's and don'ts for video making? Looking to make videos myself, and I'm just curious if you guys have any advice for others who would want to make videos. I think like one of the most important things, and I could probably stand to listen to my own advice lately, is that done is better than perfect. You know, you need to get the video done, and if you'll spend all this time trying to make it absolutely perfect, and it's really not going to matter. Like find things you want to improve on each video, and then improve on that stuff in the next video.
Yeah,
but don't just keep on waiting to release a video. And I mean,
standards, but at the same time, there's certain things like Analog Frontiers that I try to make as perfect as I can within, or documentaries in general. We try to make those as perfect as we can within
those are different. Yeah.
Within our own capabilities. But aside from stuff like that you really want to make this a video that stands the test of time. But you have to remember that for the most part, YouTube is essentially almost more of a TV style format where, the content is made to be put out there and be consumed and to convey information.
For better or worse, YouTube is basically the most disposable form of entertainment, of media probably in today's society.
Well, not the most. I mean, it's way. I mean, Twitter or what's the?
But I wouldn't really consider that
TikTok. I sound like an old man not being able to think of the word for TikTok.
But I mean, essentially the same though. I mean, people will watch things will watch well-produced videos for 10 seconds.
Well, sure, but obviously our style is well edited videos, or I don't know if I should say well edited, at least videos that a lot of effort was put into.
Yeah,
that's what people subscribe to us for, and that's what we do. But at the same time, like you said, done is better than perfect. There might be some little thing that you're I really want to get this just right, and literally no one is going to know. Who was it that said? I think it was it Duke, or it was someone else? Someone said, no one's ever going to see the video that you didn't make. Not this idea I have to do this thing, this idea I have in my head. No one's ever going to know that you didn't do it. As long as the video that you release is complete and good for, what it presents, then, getting stuff done, is the most important thing. And don't feel I gotta really knock it out of the park with the first thing I put out there. Just get something done that you think is within your capabilities, within your comfort zone, something that you're excited to do and put a video out there on. Your subscribers on YouTube grow very organically, very slowly. Mm-hmm. If you continue to just put out the content and make it good and make it what you want it to be, the subscribers will trickle in and they'll come. Growth happens within YouTube. You know, you can try to tweet about it and, shout out to people about, hey, I've got this cool thing I'm doing over here, all you want. But at the end of the day, growth comes from within the service. You know, that's why we stream on YouTube, because no one listened when we said, oh, we're doing a stream on Twitch. Because our audience is on YouTube. That's where our audience grew out of. You know, your audience is where it is. And, you know, we tweet about, we tweet it out when we stream, but like, does it make an impact on how many people show up at the stream? Not really. Not really. So, I mean,
if you want to watch or get more like advice and stuff like that, we did a panel at Uplink with John Lenneman, and we basically talked about making videos like the entire time. It's like a panel, and it's on the bonus material section of our playlist of the channel. Let me see if I can find it real quick, and I will.
You know, if you were looking for, you know, more of a technical answer rather than like an aspirational answer, you know, one thing I always like to tell people, lighting is cheap, and you can get, you know, if you go on Amazon and just look for soft box, like a soft box lighting kit, like, you know, sold from any number of no-name companies. You know, they'll come with a light stand, CFL bulbs, or maybe LED bulbs in some cases, and like a soft box that you can set up that, you know, creates, you know, nicer looking shadows. Those are bafflingly cheap for what they offer in terms of an improved presentation to your video. You know, I would definitely recommend, you know, in terms of equipment, getting lights early on, because they will, you know, improve the look of your content. They do take up an annoying amount of space, but they are cheap, and they are things that you will not really grow out of. I mean, yeah, you might buy some nicer lights down the road, but you'll still have a use for your starter lights. You know, you can get good lighting. Lighting is more in how you use it than, you know, what you buy. And the same can be said of, you know, any video equipment. You know, it's how you use it more so than the specs. You know, just, you know, read up on some of the basics of, you know, frame composition and stuff like that, and lighting placement. You know, learn from your mistakes and see what you. But don't, like, you know, if you shoot your on camera stand up and you're like, oh, you know, I wish I moved the light, you know, 1 foot this way.
Ooh, his
Like,
eyes are
don't get hung up on that and spend forever redoing it. Just go with what you got and do better the next time. You know, because you're never going to get better if you don't make those mistakes as you go along. I mean, you know, that's just how it goes.
I have to say that I always thought this game looked pretty decent, but I'm not sure if it's aged as nicely as I was expecting it to. Like, just visually.
You know, I think it looks okay. I don't know if it's like 4K or not, though.
It's not. Definitely it's not.
There was $5 from Amiglio saying, thank you for answering my question, Coury. Also, for all you do in the gaming community. Keep it up, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
And then a show with $5 saying, great advice. Thanks, bros. Yeah, I mean, I know Show has been talking about wanting to make some Famicom disk system related video content.
Oh yeah.
Which I think is something we
Rufus.
need. He's really been focused on the FDS recently. We've been chatting on the Discord about the FDS lately.
This could be interesting.
I'd love to see some more FDS content on YouTube about, you know, the real thing.
Yeah, like, I always loved Rufus's, like, his happy trail there on his On his belly.
And there was $2 from Ben Brody saying $2, but you have to say it like an old timey matter.
I'm not sure if that's exactly what it would sound like, but that's not the approach that I would take. I don't even know what the approach was that I would take.
I mean, I was thinking of more the. I think I was thinking of that Simpsons episode where they go like out west or something. It's been so long since I've seen any Simpsons episodes, honestly. But you know, there's the one where they all go out west, and there's this short little cowboy that gets excited about like everything. And he's just like, well, I'm all tuckered out. I guess it's time to go to bed. And he goes, bed? Yeah! All right!
There's also $5 from JCS. Thank you. Saying no question here. Just want to say thanks for your awesome work and content. Thanks. Thank you. I'm gonna keep on going till I either beat the game or I lose a match, and then we're gonna call it a night.
So you seem to be doing better than you expect. I don't know what difficulty you're on.
Yeah, I don't know.
I need to put more time into Soul Calibur 6. I mean, you know, that's like the one like traditional fighting series that I even, you know, kind of care about. And I played a little bit of it, but not much.
Yes, I think so.
No, I at least Ben Brody thinks it was perfect.
I'm pretty sure that Seth is the last boss.
Let's see Scepter Sever and Show talking about the Twin Famicom. I think it was in our Discord chat where I saw some people posting pictures of the actual boxes that the Twin Famicom came in. And like I had never seen the box for the Twin Famicom before. It's gorgeous. Like it feels weirdly like almost modern somehow. Like it's a really nice looking box. In some ways it almost looks like a giant Happy Meal because it's got like it's got like the flaps kind of come together and make a handle at the top. But it's cool.
What will happen now? I don't know. I probably have it on. I thought I had it on normal, but maybe I don't.
You think it's on easy?
I think it's on normal. Oh, here we go. Oof. Witness my unlimited power. Oof.
Now, I don't really know what a Famicom box is like, but I know that the FDS box is like, there's a lot of systems in Japan. My PC Engine box is also like this, where they've got like, I assume they were like just sort of shrink wrapped to hold the whole thing together, but like the cardboard part of the box is just like 5 sides. You know, the front and the sides, and then the bottom is nothing. It's just styrofoam. I think that was pretty common for early Japanese system boxes. I don't know how I feel about that so much. I guess I would prefer a completely enclosed box, but I still enjoy the designs of the box. I love my FDS box.
Oh.
The Twin Famicom box was just like the Wii U Mario Maker cover. Yeah, I mean it's got that aesthetic about it for sure.
You know what? I still destroyed his lab. So he's got to rebuild that.
Yeah. How do you like that?
Look at that clipping. I almost had him.
So I get, is Ken your go-to for the whole series?
Yeah.
I'm a little surprised you're not a Ryu guy.
Well, no. I've played Ken since Super NES Street Fighter. Also like I guess Championship Edition because that was the first one I played.
I mean, I know you tend to kind of like the default guy in a lot of games.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of characters in this game.
I mean, but of course, Ken is pretty close to the default guy.
Yes. I mean, there's a lot of characters. It's kind of crazy how many characters there are. I mean, early on, I played like E Honda on Championship Edition.
I thought you played Sakura a lot.
She's Alpha. She didn't show up until Alpha 2.
Oh, is she not in this?
No, she is. She's right here.
Okay.
I always disliked what the series did to Cody. I just think he looks so weird.
Oh.
Like he's like in jail.
I forgot that he's in Street Fighter now.
Yeah, I mean Street Fighter and Final Fighter are the same. And Saturday Night Slam Masters are the same universe.
His first appearance, right?
What is?
He was in like prison clothes in his first appearance, wasn't he?
Yeah, that was Alpha 3, I think. It was the first one he showed up in. First Street Fighter he showed up in. But I mean, even a lot of other Final Fight characters are in this. Like, is Rolento? Yeah, Rolento is. Poison. And Guy, of course. There's.
There was,
go ahead.
$5 again from good old JPEG John Perry G saying, I only have so many YouTube subscriptions. MLiG is definitely one of mine. I really sound impressive to everyday people I get into discussions with this about. I have to confess, I do not use the YouTube subscription system to any particularly useful effect. This is why I'm always like surprised was like, oh, Jimmy Hopper released a video. And like, I should have known like 2 weeks ago. I mean, I don't really use my personal account for YouTube at all.
Yeah.
You know, all of the subscriptions we have are, you know, on the MLiG account. And I get so easily distracted by videos and streams and stuff. Like I end up just like, you know, I think a lot of people when they watch YouTube, they like multitask or something. And like, I just like get completely engrossed in whatever I'm watching. And I'll never get anything done. I would never make videos if I was watching videos as often as I would like to. But you know, I always try to, when I get a chance, I try to catch up on my backlog of videos from our buddies at least.
Do you know how they ended up, like, what the meaning of trophies are these days?
What?
Do you know what the meaning of trophies are these days? Where it says, you know, it used to be like you would level up, you had like a trophy level. Remember that, where you would, if you got enough trophies, like your profile like would level up.
I never understood anything about.
But I mean, it was very low on PS3. You know, I would think I was like level like 7 or 8 by the time I finished. But then recently I looked and it's like, oh, like why does it say what is the significance of the 321? Is what I want to know.
I do not know.
Like, how was that calculated?
I mean, I've never paid attention to the overarching achievement or trophy systems. Like, I don't know what level I am. I've never cared what level I am. It's just like on a game by game basis. And of course, you know, I haven't really focused on it as, you know, in the past generation as much as I I enjoyed from a game to game basis on PS3 and Vita.
Mhm.
Like, oh, like I really like this game. I want to get all the trophies. You know.
Yeah, but okay, so they
Right. So
changed.
that would be a goal on individual game, but I never paid any attention to what it did to the totals.
Right, but okay, but I mean, what people are saying though, they changed the level structure last year. It says level 30 in the previous system is like 400 now.
Huh.
So I don't know. I don't know how this happened and what it means. And it says that's the amount of trophies that you get or you've unlocked. But no, I mean, if you look at the trophies that I have, like it's clearly more than 321. It's so weird.
Now I gotta turn on my system.
Well, I can probably look here and see what
I got. Well, I gotta look. I gotta look now.
I recently found a copy of the Spyro, the collection on PS4. Like later print runs of that had all the games on the disc and all the patches on disc.
Oh yeah.
And I was able to find one at the local pawn shop that fit the description of having all the games on disc.
Wrong input on the Denon receiver.
I did not beat Balan Wonderworld. I think I will finish it though.
I still don't really know my way around the PS4 menu that well. I think we're actually really close. What did you say?
321.
Mine is 326.
Oh wow.
What's your trophy total?
3805.
Interesting. So you've got more. Wow, we are really close.
But
I've got 3790. Can you believe that? We're within 15 trophies of each other.
But how come your level is so much higher though? I wonder. Probably
Not like so much higher, but how many platinum trophies do you have?
10.
I also have 10. What about gold?
133.
189. So that's probably why my score is higher, even though you've got 15 more trophies. I cannot believe that. We're 15 trophies apart.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Can you unlock 15 trophies in the next couple days?
Yeah, I'll try. I've been playing Switch lately, so not likely. Look, it's can you see? Is it appearing on stream?
Yeah, I see it. Dead Storm Pirates, Raising Storm.
It's funny. It's like all PS3 stuff at the top of mine.
So you have 13 more silvers than me, but I have
only 13.
Like 80 more bronze than you.
That's so funny how close we are on some of these. I just can't believe that you said 3805 for your total.
Yeah.
That's just so funny to me. I can't believe we're that. I mean, that's just wild to me.
And honestly, well, I might be a little bit more because I don't. It looks like Balan Wonderworld is not showing up on here, so it might be probably about 5 more. But that's it.
It's all PS3 stuff because I've booted up like all my games.
Yeah, mine's mostly. Although you scroll down a little bit, you see some other stuff. But I've been booting up a lot of stuff lately just to check for patches and everything.
Yeah.
But I think that's going to do it for this week. It's midnight anyways.
Yeah, I don't know why we went on this long. I got chatty this stream. I don't know what caused me to just be chatty today.
It happens. It happens. Anyways, thanks to everybody who stuck around for the whole thing and everyone who donated. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And I hope everyone has a good week. Hope this gives you a good start to your week.
Maybe look for a video at the end of this week, or at the very least early next week.
Yeah, I'm really going to be working towards this, so we're going to see what happens.
And we'll be back next week. I'll be streaming, and I'll open my next Video Game History Foundation magazine.
Yeah. I have that. I have 2 issues that I still have yet to open. And Chris and I are going to do a stream at some point, but I feel like I got to finish this episode before I do that, because it takes an entire evening.
Well, yeah, I mean, the most significant working hours of our Fridays the past 2 weeks were eaten up with streaming as well.
Yeah.
So I think this is gonna be like the first week in a while where I've had like an entire, like, every day, like, I can just work on Analog Frontiers and don't have to worry about anything else.
Yep.
It'll be nice.
Heck yeah. All right, everybody. Have a good night.
Good night.
Good night.